This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey y'all, let me know if y'all can hear me or if it's cutting out. It's being really weird. I'm going to try to pull this up and we're going to try to roll with it, but my computer's acting super weird. If it's doing it on y'all's end, just let me know and we'll come back. I'll come back in and we'll restart the stream. So first I have, let me say hey to y'all. Hey Gammy and Anders and Anna. Lord have mercy. What is going on? Hey, Anders and Amy and Anders and Gammy and Anna and Sarah and Abellis and Hazel Eyes. Hold on just a minute. It's being weird. I'm trying to say hey to y'all. Hey, Bad Girl. And I saw Queen Olive Ruth Ann. Toxic, Abellis, Amanda Page. Hey, how are you? Hope y'all are doing good. All right, I'm going to say hey to y'all as I can in the chat. Like the chat's not even showing up right this second for me. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. I will say hey to you as I see you pop up and talk. Hey, White Lilith. It's good to see all of you guys. Hey, Zio. Okay, I'm just making sure because it's being weird. Y'all let me know if I start cutting out or anything. Like my chat won't load. I've got to see what's going on real quick. We're going to, I'm going to pull up this information on Delphi that I found. I saw this the other day and I was like, what in the world is this? There are some explosive revelations going on right now, at least on Court TV. So let's see what old Vinnie Politan has going on here. I think this is it. All right. Let's listen.
Diaries podcast was in the courtroom for the trial. Bob Mata, and private investigator, worked on the case for nearly 2 years, is close with Richard Allen's family. Erica Morse is with us. Thank you both for being here. Erica, it's been a while since I've talked to you about this case. So let's talk about this case. Let's start first with Richard Allen. His wife, Kathy, wasn't there today, right?
No one from the Allen family attended. That was an ongoing discussion between Rick and his family for about the last 2 weeks, Vinny, as to whether or not they should go. And the decision was made that if Rick's advisement by the defense attorneys was to not participate in the pre-sentencing investigation report, and for good reason, that the family would stand with him in solidarity.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I had muted my computer so I could holler at the youngins to make sure they are on the internet. And I thought there was no sound. I am so sorry. I'm getting it together. Hold on.
And not accept the verdict by refusing to show up. It is unfair to watch this family, or to ask this family to watch this man be sentenced for crimes he did not commit in a trial that has to be redone.
So, Erica, tell me, why do you believe he did not commit this horrific double murder?
Oh, well,
all right here. When I heard this, I was like, whoa, what did she just say? Hey, Matilda Marie, and thank you for being here.
Vinny, we only have, 20 minutes to talk about it tonight. The Frank's memo, which was not a concoction of the defense team. It was a highly and very thoroughly investigated extension of a report created by an FBI task force who developed that theory. And the man who authored that report
What on earth is going on?
died at the hands of an Odinism prison guard 5 days after he turned that report in.
Okay, so I would cut out. Did y'all hear that? I'll back it up just a smidge. She said the man who authored the Franks memo died at the hands of an Odinist a few days later. I was like, wait a minute, what? What? Listen.
Task force who developed that theory. And the man who authored that report died at the hands of an Odinism prison guard 5 days after he turned that report in.
Wait. Say that again?
Right.
Told you to tell you, Vinny. Bob, back me on this. Am I lying?
No, she's talking about Greg Ferenczi, who was one of the three authors of the Odin report that Click, Ferenczi, and Kevin Murphy all put together because they continued that line of investigation for years until Greg Ferenczi was killed. And that was in front of a federal building shortly after he turned in that document.
What?
Explain this to how was he killed? So the man who was killed was working for the FBI or was part of the task force? Who exactly was he?
Was one of the three members of the task force tasked with investigating all of the tips related, and I mean all of the tips related to a particular group of individuals. And Greg authored the report. It was turned in, I believe, on May 2nd. And he, on May 7th, was sitting in an office inside the federal building in, I believe it was Indy or Terre Haute. And a Molotov cocktail was thrown through his office window. Greg vacated his office, ran outside in front of the federal building, and that is when he was shot in the head by a former prison guard who is very openly tied to Odinism.
Do y'all hear that? She said somebody threw a Molotov cocktail through his window. He ran outside, and then an Odinist prison guard shot him in the head. Is this really going on in Delphi? Like, let me be the first to tell you this is all just speculation. I don't know whether to believe it or not. But what? Are you freaking serious right now? That's insane.
So was that prison guard arrested and prosecuted for this?
Yes, and charged, convicted. Yes, sir, he was. And this is one of the many deals.
So why haven't we heard about this? If this prison guard was charged, convicted, and sentenced for the crime, why haven't we heard about this? RC99, thank you for being here. RC99 says the Odinism connection isn't solidified, but overall what she's saying is accurate. Why haven't we heard about this? Are you freaking kidding me? This man is sentenced to 130 years. Meanwhile, we actually have Odinism prison guards running around throwing Molotov cocktails and shooting people in the head and being sentenced for the crime, and we haven't heard about it. RC99 says she would know more because she would have investigated it more as part of her job. Yes, she is a private investigator. Thank you, RC99. And Queen Anne says because of corruption. I mean, I'm with you there. Like, don't get me wrong. If he's guilty of the crime, then he has to do the time as far as Richard Allen. But I have questions.
Details about the Delphi case that the state does not want the world to know. They don't want the world to know that Todd Click has been charged with unrelated crimes, another member of that task force. They don't want to know about the number of people associated with this case who have died or been charged, myself included. They don't want the world
Wait, you've
to know
been
what's
charged with
happening
something
in
now?
Indiana. The bloods. I got to be careful.
Right.
But the blood spatter expert who testified at the Delphi trial was at my home, alone inside my home, 2 days before he testified in the trial, and Bob can attest to that. There's so much y'all don't know, Vinny. There's so much. People are scared, and then to have Doug and Dick sit there today and disparage us for the work we've done and talk about the transparency that they claim occurred in a case where there was none, where the defense team wasn't even allowed to present a case. Let's go.
I apologize. I was muted. Hey, Spinster, and thank you for being here. And that's my issue. If Richard Allen was really guilty of this crime, then of course sentence him to 130 years. That's a horrible crime, and I want justice for Abby and Libby. But again, I want justice for Abby and Libby, and the defense wasn't able to present their case. And, you know, you can't make a decision as a juror unless you have all of the evidence. Spinster said this info was mind-blowing. Something is really going on in Indiana. I agree. Queen Olive says, this may be a differing opinion, but I think Richard Allen is innocent and he was set up. I mean, I do too, and I respect people who think he's guilty, okay? But, like, we got to at least present all the evidence and let them have a freaking trial, let them have a defense. And, I mean, with all this going on, I have questions.
Oh, I'm ready. I told you I was going to talk starting the day the gag order was lifted. Let's do this.
Bob, what are you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make some sense of all this. So it seems like there's a big backstory here to the whole Odinism angle. And I just want to clarify this, right?
I'm with Vinny. Sarah said, I got really caught up in Delphi, but had to step away because of all the stuff going on in the background. I wanted to wait for trial, and I still scratch my head over this case. Me too. Hey, Catwoman.
So there's a task force that's part of law enforcement. And there's some members of this task force who had a different theory. They did not believe Richard Allen, or Richard Allen wasn't even on the radar yet for anyone. But they believed that the murder of these two girls was connected to some sort of Odinistic or Odinistic group ritual killing. And what you're telling me is that one member of that group who authored that report is no longer alive. Another one's been arrested for something.
Right before trial. Right before trial. Unrelated to the case, but
is he law enforcement or is she law enforcement? Like the people on this task force, were they law enforcement?
And it was the author, one of the people who authored the Franks memorandum right before trial. Hey, I know who killed you. Thank you for being here. I know who killed you said no DNA from Richard Allen at the crime scene. A horrific, brutal double murder. There should be some DNA, even a hair or fiber. Yet there's absolutely nothing from Richard Allen at all. Right? There's 72 or 75 hairs there that they haven't even tested. RC99 said the defense or the difference. The defense are convinced they'll get a second trial, so are holding back a lot still, despite the gag order being lifted. Yep. I believe it. Anders said, I don't really understand the people who think he's guilty. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Me either. And, you know, it goes back to the sentencing. They told Richard Allen not to even worry about it, not to even talk because of the state actors. And we went over that in the sentencing memorandum that I read, that's in the videos. And Kathy wasn't there, of course, because they know it's all a setup. They knew that they weren't going to listen to him anyway. They want to go get their conviction, 130 years. They wanted to prounce around like peacocks like they did at that freaking presser. And they're focused on the appeal.
Enforcement officers?
Oh, yeah. These were all longtime cops. These were all decorated. I mean, just Google Greg Ferenczi. You'll see immediately this guy was highly respected. All of these cops were longtime cops. And that's kind of what we've been saying about, this concept of Doug Carter getting up there and casting shade on the defense for doing their job. Number one, let's just understand that it's their job. And everything that was in that Frank's memo that people on the Richard Allen is guilty, they created this whole narrative thing, the defense did side. I don't know if they just don't realize that all of that came from the discovery tendered to the defense by the state. None of this was cooked up by the defense.
Right.
That exact report we're talking about was in the discovery. That report that we're talking about right now was in the discovery. So when they start talking to these cops, obviously Ferenczi wasn't there to talk to, but the defense called Click, deposed Click. They deposed Kevin Murphy or called Kevin Murphy. They were like, what is this all about? Does this thing have legs?
Wow.
Everything that was in that Frank's memo.
Stay where you are. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll discuss more of these explosive revelations next.
Can y'all believe that? And I know the defense is waiting for the appeal. But
do you think that the public perception of Richard Allen is not accurate?
I don't think it's accurate. Richard Allen's a murderer.
Okay, Richard Allen today was sentenced to 130 years.
I have questions about Richard Allen and the Flora fires. I Know Who Killed You said, as part of research for my book, I communicated with serial killers, so I have seen and spoken to actual monsters. I look at Richard Allen and don't see it. He looks defeated and depressed. He looks defeated and depressed to me too. A lot of it is, I just have questions.
In prison for the Delphi murders. But right now we're going over some explosive revelations that are being brought by a private investigator who's investigated this case for 2 years. She is with us, Erica Morse, along with Bob Mata, criminal defense attorney, host of Defense Diaries.
I'm sorry, the screen's not all the way. My husband was doing some stuff on my computer and he made it weird, so I apologize about that. Hey, Gorgeous George, and thank you for being here. Gorgeous George said, oh my God, I can't stand to watch shows like this with Vinnie Politan or other hosts. You don't know anything about what's happened in the course of this case. I'm sorry you feel that way. I've done what research I can, but it sounds like this private investigator here has been looking into the case for 2 years. And what she says is accurate. So I do have questions about it. She seems to know what she's talking about. If the man who shot one of the authors or people who helped to get the Frank's memorandum out, if he was shot in the head right after a Molotov cocktail got thrown into his office and this other man was charged for it and sentenced, I think that's pretty accurate. But I appreciate your comment and I understand and respect your point of view.
I've got this information, and I just pulled this up. You're hitting me with this tonight, Erica, but I want the folks at home to hear this because this is a press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office. A federal grand jury in Indianapolis returned an indictment today, and obviously this goes back in time to 2022, charging a Terre Haute man with the murder of a federal officer, attempted arson of federal property, and using a firearm during a crime of violence causing death. The charges against Shane Meehan, 45, stem from the July 7th, 2021 killing of Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferenczi. Meehan was previously charged by a federal criminal complaint. According to court documents, on July 7th, Meehan drove his pickup truck to the gate of the FBI resident agency building in Terre Haute. Meehan
You weren't being rude, Gammy. You're fine.
exited his truck and threw a Molotov cocktail toward the building. Shortly thereafter, Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferenczi walked out of the building, just like you said, and was confronted by Meehan, who was holding a firearm. Meehan shot Ferenczi, who died of his injuries. Now, the U.S. attorney doesn't indicate anything about the investigation or the report connected to Odinism, but what you're saying is the report is handed in 5 days before this happened?
The report was turned in on the 2nd of May, and Greg was killed on the 7th.
The report was turned in on May 2nd, and he was killed on the 7th. And we're just now hearing about this. I mean, you're hiding the relevancy. We're just now hearing about it. Are you freaking serious?
Wow. Was any of this litigated, Bob? When was all these revelations coming out first, Erica? When were these pieces put together? And when did you understand, oh my goodness, there might be something else going on here?
The first round of discovery and found the Odin report. In that discovery, that's when everybody kind of pumped the brakes for a second and went, what the hell are we dealing with here? And
well, how do we know that Shane Meehan does he claim to be an Odinist?
Yes, and he his employment is listed throughout the trial as a former prison guard in the DOC. And as you recall, we had a lot of problems with prison guards inside the DOC being Odinists. Oh gosh, I hope I'm here in 24 hours, Vinny. A lot of problems with allegations.
I mean, she's laughing about it, but it's a serious concern to have at this case. MI Passenger 33, you're good. MI Passenger 33 says, sorry to plug another creator. However, if you go to All Eyes and you want the Delphi facts, including this information, some have known a ton of stuff, including this story. Also, if you go to As the Gavel Drops Discord, they have a ton of documents about Delphi. I unfortunately haven't had the time to look at them, but they bring me documents all the time. I need to look for this because this is really, really important.
About Odinist prison guards, and some of those guys testified at trial. Again, there was a reason why cameras weren't allowed in that courtroom. There was a reason why pen and paper only were allowed. And as Andy Baldwin said, a couple of years ago, standing inside one of the courthouses, he said, it's time for journalists to be journalists. And we were begging you guys, while being stifled, silenced, threatened, retaliated against, gagged, to dig deeper and deeper, because we couldn't tell the world what was happening. But what we continued to do throughout the process is file motions and provide information that should have been allowed in at trial to be explored by a jury. And not only was it not allowed, but then today, a very extreme effort was made to shut down any attempt to let us talk about it. And listen,
I remember when the prosecution looked at the camera and he said, it's time for you guys to be journalists, because they haven't been allowed to talk about this. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, compare the Flora fires with it as well. There's so much corruption in that case too. They still haven't solved it. It was an arson. There's cameras everywhere. There are 4 dead little girls, 6 including Abby and Libby. And the Flora fires just remains unsolved. They say that Richard Allen did this, but I don't think he did. And if you do, that's fine. And I understand and I respect your point of view. I like to hear other people's points of views. Okay. But with this coming out, I still have a lot more questions.
And I'm all in at this point. An innocent man was just sentenced to 130 years in prison today. His wife has become one of my best friends. And I can't let this go. Rick Allen is an innocent man, and we can prove it.
All right. Stay where you are. We're going to do an extra segment on this. We're going to take a short break right now, but Bob Motta, Erica Morse staying with us. Big night here. Richard Allen sentenced to 130 years. But now, is there more to the story? We'll be right back.
Hey, need some Z's in Pennsylvania paranormal fan.
German, finally get some justice. We're bringing you the latest from today's sentencing in the Delphi murder case.
Closing arguments, Coming up next, only on Court TV. Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of it.
Hey, Donnie Pitbull, Kunis, thank you for being here. Donnie says there are a lot of deaths connected to this case and mysterious at that. Yeah, there are. And that's what I'm saying. Like, explain all this shit to me, and also explain to me how you know for a fact he was there. Give me some DNA evidence, and I'm going to tell you, hey, you know, he deserves to do not only 130 years, but 275 more. But I'm not there. You haven't shown me that. I need more evidence. And everybody says, you know, it's about Abby and Libby. Richard Allen's not the victim. Okay, I understand that. But Libby and Abby have not got justice if somebody else is still running around out there that actually did this crime. How is that justice? It's not. Now you have 3 victims instead of 2 victims and the actual murderer behind bars, in my opinion. RC99 said the woman who gave a polygraph to one of the alternate suspects who confessed died in an arson. See, I didn't even know that. Do you see this stuff? I mean, it. And then we've got the I think it was the judge's wife or something, and daughter died in an arson. Like, the arsons around there, everybody's just running around setting everybody on fire. I Know Who Killed You said I made a song about the Delphi case, Delphi Lullaby. I hope you will check it out and tell me what you think. I certainly will check it out. I'll look at it. KLL said because he is an innocent man. I agree. And again, I try to be open. And if you don't agree, I understand and respect your opinion. I'm not there. Toxic said, I want to read the trial transcripts. I'm sure a lot we don't know about was brought up in this case. Yeah, I think so too.
Baldwin, can you provide any comment?
Journalism. It's time for you guys to start being journalists.
That was
Y'all remember that? I remember seeing that.
was the call from Richard Allen's attorney in the Delphi murder case. And we're in the midst of doing some of that right now on this program. Welcome back. Richard Allen, 130 years. He was sentenced today, presented no evidence, said nothing. They're going, banking on the appellate process in all of this. Erica Morris is with us, private investigator. Has worked this case for 2 years. Bob Mata knows this case inside out, has been covering it in defense diaries. Bob Mata's a great attorney. So the man who shoots and kills the author of the Odinism report and shoots and kills the FBI task force member who's a Terre Haute detective is now in a hospital, not competent to stand trial, apparently, for these federal charges.
What? Pennsylvania Paranormal Fan said the time can never fix it. And I agree. Like, even if we are to find out that Richard Allen is guilty, if somehow they stop the charade and the corruption long enough for somebody to actually be able to prove that Richard Allen is innocent, he'll never, I mean, there's always going to be people that think he's guilty. They have messed that man up psychologically to the point that it's like, I mean, his brain is mush. I just.
He's having mental issues. So I don't know what's going on there. Bob Mata, let me ask you a quick question. Quick answer. What can the defense team do with this information? And this, does this become anything that can be used to get a new trial?
Well, it's going to depend if the judge will let it even be brought up in court.
Yeah, I mean, a bulk of it was contained in the Franks memo. I mean, that, a huge amount of what we've been talking about was contained in the Franks memo.
It's larger than that. If you've got someone who's alleged to be a former Department of Corrections Odinist who shoots and kills the author of the guy who says the Odinists are responsible for the murder of Abby and Libby.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to make that connection. I don't know if that connection's been made. It certainly wasn't brought up by the defense in that context because they're worried about defending Richard Allen.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying?
Make that connection. Is that new evidence that could get you potentially a new trial?
If it has legs.
Okay. Erica Morse, does it have legs?
It has legs, and there's a lot of new information. You know, the one thing I really have to stress here is that this defense team, a group of individuals assigned and then some others brought on by request, independently and collectively, you know, we keep hearing countless hours. Well, I did a little bit of very conservative math today, and I'd say on our end, conservatively, 22 to 25,000 hours as a team on this case. And we have done such thorough investigating. We took that 27-page Odin report and turned it into a 136-page Frank's memo.
That girl said, why can't the FBI get involved to investigate the investigators? They said they weren't allowed, like they basically threw them out of town. And how can they do that? Like, I would think a government entity like that could come in and be like, yeah, I don't care if you don't want us here or not. We're going to investigate this.
And there is a reason they fought to keep that out. And there is a reason why every time we tried to get it in, it was shut down quickly. We have conflicts of interest running amok in this case. We have very strange timelines that don't fit. For those who were in the courtroom today, there was the one thing that Brad did ask was that the record be corrected to reflect that Rick was not arrested on October 28th, that he was actually arrested on October 26th. And I can tell you that I've spent the last 2 weeks of my life going through every minute of October 26th through October 28th, and it has resulted in a lot of new information.
Okay. We're out of time.
I'm really curious to see what more is brought out about that. Hey, Planeron, I don't know how to say your name. They said the former guard will get away with this pleading insanity. Yes, he will. I mean, I don't doubt it. Especially if you've got all the people in town, the investigators and the sheriff and shit trying to help them because they don't want this out. There's no way Richard Allen could have possibly done all that, was at the crime scene in that short amount of time. Prosecution said that he was there. Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm just, I don't know what to think, y'all. My mind is blown. I didn't know that personally. I'm going to see real quick if they have anything else about this. I think that's about all I had for that. That was like so explosive. I'm going to see if they said anything else out about it here in the past day or so. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not trying to see members only. Let's check lives. I don't think he said anything else about it, but you know, of course he's going to do the closing arguments. No, I'm not seeing. Let me search Vinnie Politan Delphi. If not, we'll go ahead and jump into Jen Soto, but no, it's not showing me anything else new. Everything's from a month ago. Yeah, nothing new. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into Jen Soto. I Need Some Z says, I expect that he'll get off all charges. It's my speculation that he had to be planned and the insanity plea, etc., was all part of it. It's possible. I don't know if they're going to let Richard Allen off on all charges, even at the appeal. It depends on the judge. It depends on the town and the case and all of the things. It's concerning because, oh, wrong section. Because I believe that he's innocent. I just do. I mean, and if you don't, like I said, we're open here. I like for people to share their thoughts and opinions, because you never know. If you tell me why you feel the way you feel and give me some evidence, you never know. Somebody might change their way of thinking and say, well, you know what? I didn't know that. I can see why you feel that way. I can see why you think that way. And I agree with you. So I do appreciate people who don't agree with me and feel differently about things. I don't think that there's enough to say that Richard Allen did that. And again, I understand who the victims are in this case 100%. But if you're not absolutely positive that you have the right man, then you end up with 3 victims instead of the 2 victims that are actual victims in this case. You know what I mean? Because now you've got what seems to most of the public to be an innocent man behind bars, and you've made another victim. Yeah. The first step is going to be getting the appeal hearing meet some Z's. Absolutely. Gold does need to be off the case, Sarah. Otherwise, nothing's going to change, right? Who, Vinny? That girl? And then I saw the pit bull. Yes, the pit bull. I'm going to call you the pit bull. Oh my gosh, my computer is acting so stupid. The pit bull said, I have been at this case for a long time and it's bad. I believe you. I mean, yeah, everything I pull seems to be bad. But even with the limited amount of information that they received, the timeline just doesn't work. It doesn't. And I'm glad that there was people who set up the timeline with Kelsey. But it doesn't. There's no freaking way you could have done all that in the middle of the day. So real quick about what we're watching right now. This is going to be, I think, the day after Stephan was arrested. Jenna has just come in, said that they can talk to her more. She's sitting down. She's closed off, almost in the fetal position again. I think she's afraid. That's my personal opinion. Closed off, guarded, pouting, upset. Which, again, I try to be open and look at things from all perspectives. If she didn't know that this was going on, maybe she's upset. I think she knew, but there's a possibility that she didn't, to be fair. And let me just say, I was watching some videos today, and I do want to reiterate right now that Jen Soto, regardless of whether she knew what was going on in the house between Stephan and Maddie, as of right now, is still a victim in this case, okay? And I go hard on her, and so does a lot of the public, because it's my personal opinion that there's no way you didn't know about what was going on. But I do want to be fair and say there is a small percentage, a possibility that she might not have known. So I want to be fair when I say that. I think that she knew? Yes, I do. Absolutely 100%. I don't think she couldn't have known. But she possibly might have not. So I just want to put that out there real quick. All by himself. I'm sorry, he's too overweight. Now shape to control 2 girls and maneuver the terrain, yep, and move them and all of that. I just don't see it. Good point, Toxic. Gammy said good point, too. Pitbull's just trying to help get the word out that he's not guilty. I don't think he's guilty. I mean, and just compare if you compare what Jen Soto knew to what Richard Allen did, I can see a clear difference. Hey, all things serious, thank you for being here. Bellis, you're so sweet. I don't know how she got immunity either, all things serious. They had enough without her. All right, we're going to look at body language and all of things.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office. I met Detective Smallwood from the the goal.
Again, to be clear, she does not have full immunity. She has limited immunity, provided that she did not lie in the immunity deal, and she did lie. We'll go over that one next. It's probably going to take me 2 days to get through this because it's 3 hours long, but we'll go over the limited immunity deal tomorrow.
Obviously, Kissimmee Police Department's doing most of this investigation. We're at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Our people, we have resources out there, obviously doing active. So it's kind of a joint effort. So Detective Small is kind of, we're going to read through the timeline of everything else. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to go there. Right.
You want me to go through the whole timeline?
Yeah, we'll start with Sunday. Take you through Sunday.
Okay.
Now, this is March 1st, but I don't think that they found her yet. I'm pretty sure they haven't found her. Sarah, please let me, Sarah said, is anyone else hearing the audio be a little funky, like it skips and it's static? Could be on my end. Thank you for letting me know. Y'all let me know. Okay, people are saying it sounds fine. Like I said, it's been messing up, so if y'all hear it mess up, let me know. And then, real quick, Queen Olive Ruth Ann said, I just arrived at my nephew's for gingerbread house making party. I'll finish listening later. See you tomorrow. I hope you have the best time ever. That is super sweet. Thank you, Jenny, for the trigger warning. Please consider hitting the thumbs up.
Here's that tissue.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, correct.
Hitting the thumbs up helps us get out into the algorithm and get more eyes on our videos. So I really appreciate you doing that. I won't ask you again.
Actual tissues?
No,
I can give you this whole roll.
So Sunday, birthday party. She spent the whole day at my mom's house. We celebrated with the whole family. I was at work. I just started a new job last week or the week before.
Okay. Where's that at?
Walt Disney World at Coronado Springs, front desk concierge.
Okay.
I was finishing up my last day of, no, it wasn't even my last day of training. I was still.
Hey, Sharon Parker, and thank you for being here. My lovely mod, Jenny Jen, said this interview is March 1st, 2024. I believe towards the middle or end is when they receive the tip of the person that saw Stephan Sterns, and that's going to be the person who saw him changing the tire. KLL talking about Delphi said, why did Doug Carter tell the FBI to leave? What did the FBI know? He also wanted all the info on the investigation back too. Well, you know, they said that they thought Bridge Guy was Ron Logan. And when they found out that Doug Carter was saying it was Richard Allen, they were like, you're completely wrong in that. I remember that.
Still in the middle of training. Sunday in the middle of training, I couldn't miss to go to her birthday party. So I went to work. I was with my family all day. She had the best day. She was so happy when I got home and I saw her. At my house around 8:30 that night.
Phyllis, it's probably the redactions. If it doesn't when I talk, let me know. When it does it in the interview, it's the redactions.
I wasn't home. She got dropped off alone.
Hey, Rainbow Rising.
10 to 15 minutes later, Stephan showed up.
At your house in Kissimmee.
At my house in Kissimmee, he called me. Or he texted me, I don't remember. But he let me know he was there and that she was getting ready for bed. She was doing her routine. So she took her nighttime meds and she got in the shower to get ready for bed.
What meds? What does she take?
She takes hydroxyzine.
Okay.
Um,
What is it for?
it's for anxiety and for sleep.
Okay.
Hydroxyzine is an antihistamine that works for anxiety and it makes you sleepy. But her medication bottles went out in December and had not been filled, and it's February of the next year. So I have questions. Okay, Abellis, try to go out and come back in. Anybody else, if it sounds okay. If it continues to bother anybody or if it continues to mess up, let me know and I'll try to go on my phone. We'll have to wait a minute for my computer to restart. But let me know if it keeps doing it. Like if it's messing up the stream, if it's noticeable to where we can't watch it. And thank you.
Now, could she take that by herself, or would he have given that to her?
I think she took it by herself. She got home and she had already taken it.
How do you know that?
That's what he told me.
That's what he told you. Okay.
He was there when you got home? You got home, they were already at the apartment? Okay.
I don't like her taking her meds without somebody visually watching her, because I don't want her to accidentally grab the wrong pill. She's comfortable enough to grab the pill while, but I'm like, no, I need to watch you take them.
Has there ever been an issue with that in the past, where she took too many or took the wrong thing? Or just like a thought in your mind?
No, just a thought in my mind, just me being hypervigilant.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know, Abellis and Rubber. Yeah, because I was asking y'all to let me know. Thank you. And I appreciate that. Just keep letting me know if it gets bad. Judy Jen said that Jennifer found out about the CSAM on February 28th. Thank you for making that timeline accurate. And real quick, Sarah said she may have gotten a 3-month supplies. Non-narcotics can be filled for 3 months depending on insurance. So that is a possibility, to be fair. And thank you for letting me know that, Sarah.
I want to physically watch her take her meds and watch her grab 2, take them. I don't ever want there to be an accident of she took too many or she took. My biggest fear is that she would take Adderall by accident.
But you didn't watch her take her medicine. Stephan was the one who handled her nighttime routine, which made me curious because the whole freaking story is that you needed some good sleep. So you took your meds and went to bed, and Stephan handled the nighttime routine. So why are you saying you wanted to watch her take her medicine when you weren't watching her take her medicine, ma'am?
Her daytime meds.
Got it.
I got home around 10:30. I started getting ready for bed myself. I started eating and taking my meds because I have to take meds.
Yes,
when I went to take my meds, I realized, oh my God, I forgot to take my Saturday night's meds, which is why I felt so weird and so abnormal and not myself Sunday while I was.
And again, I'll say it again. I've been on bipolar medication before. I use natural remedies now, but when I was, the doctor will tell you when they give you medicine. I was on lithium. Okay, like that lithium ain't no joke. Okay, and they tell you it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get built up into your system good. And the whole thing about bipolar medication is that people will stop taking it because it's built up in their system, and they can skip a day or 2 or 3 or 4 and feel fine. So they stop taking it, and then after a couple of weeks, they start going all crazy. You have high highs and low lows, and you're all over the place emotionally. And that's what happens. You're not going to be able to tell after one day that you didn't take your medicine. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense. Lithium is bad. I'm glad I'm not on it anymore.
Work noticed I was acting different and not being myself. Like I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I haven't felt in years. It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again, but I've been medicating myself for all this time. I realized I forgot to take my meds, and I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. Um, suggested that we all.
Hey, Lisa. I see. I did catch your first comment, but they're saying we just covered it. If you want to see where we were talking about, I'm assuming Delphi, just back the stream up, and I'll still answer your comments in reference to Delphi.
All sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks. We have a king size bed, and she typically sleeps on one side, and she'll end up on my side when we wake up.
Okay.
So I asked her, I'm like, no, please, I need a good night's sleep. If you guys can go upstairs and let me sleep. I had asked Stephan to take her to school in the morning.
We'll go to Sunday. So Sunday you took your meds. What meds, if you don't mind me asking, what meds do you take? And like, how does it put you to sleep deep? Does it help you fall asleep, or does it help regulate you? What kind of happens when you take the meds?
So somebody, just to put this out there, okay, because I have proof of some of it to back it up, right? If you go to my document where I'm reading the homicide and document of Stephan Sterns, and you go to the very end of the second one, it gives graphic depictions of what the videos were on his phone, okay? And it talks about, and trigger warning, heavy trigger warning. One of them, actually 2 videos, one of them talks about how he put his member in her mouth while she was trying to sleep, talking about Maddie, and he put his hands in other places while she was trying to sleep. And somebody in the comments section, they said they wondered if Maddie and Stephan were messing around in the bed while Jen was in the bed, and Stephan could have Maddie could have possibly been trying to get away from Stephan, and that's why she's getting all up on Jennifer and kicking her. And the thought of that just broke my fucking heart, because I feel so bad for Maddie. That's why I have this case pulls on my heartstrings. Now again, I was not there. I do not know, thank God, because Stephan wouldn't be alive right now if I had been there. But the thought of that just brings me to tears, y'all, because that's her mama. Like, and there is a possibility she didn't know, okay? But I'm just like, her whole entire life she was suffering. It's really sad.
So they do all of the above. They make me sleepy. They help me stay asleep, and they help me function. So I'm stable all day. They only work well if I've got a good night's sleep and if I've eaten with them the night before when I take them, or the night I take them. The medication is called Giadon.
Yeah, Sarah, I'll drop the link real quick.
Generic brand is called Ziprazidone. I took my meds, and then I told them to start getting ready for bed, to start heading upstairs and get ready, because it was already almost 11 o'clock. It's past her bedtime. She needs to go to sleep. So I sent them upstairs. I think he may have come down at one point to pee before bed, and then he went back upstairs. He uses my restroom because the roommates upstairs don't want to share a restroom with a male.
And considering the fact that he was putting his phone under their door while they were changing, I wouldn't want to share a freaking bathroom with him either. Jenny Jen said, what if Jen asked Stephan to make content so she could pay Botox appointment? And I've heard a lot about that Botox appointment, so I don't want to say it's out of the realm of possibility. We speculate over here. This is speculation, and only speculation. I think it's very possible. Hey, Sarah.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Does my sound okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to have a little insight on, how they're talking about, we would have our cuddle time. Okay. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and my ex-husband and I are divorced, and I have a boyfriend. And if my daughter comes into our bed in the middle of the night, like, he scooches over, I'm in the middle, I snuggle with her for a couple minutes. Like, he wants nothing, because he's like, that is inappropriate. I'm not her dad. It's like she's
Right.
changing. He is like on the opposite side of the apartment. It's like we keep
Right.
everything appropriate. So that kind of thing, it just makes me want to reach through the screen and,
Right. It's because that's a normal reaction to, like, be as far away as you can, if she was to come get in the bed. And I would think that you would probably be in between the two.
yeah. And, like,
So,
when she was sick and everything and she would be in bed with me, he would either take her bed or the couch. If we
yep.
knew that it was a situation where, she's not feeling well or going through something, she wants to sleep with mom, he's in a different room completely.
Yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So much about this situation is freaking weird.
Yeah, I think it enrages a lot of people because most of us are like, "You have got to be kidding me. This is just completely unhinged."
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so he uses my restroom. Um,
I think it's possible, Anna, and I hope not either.
sorry, where did I
You're fine. Sunday night he came downstairs, maybe overnight to use the restroom.
Yeah, and then he went back upstairs and they went to sleep. Or where I think they went to sleep.
Okay.
I went to sleep. I was woken up at some time. For the longest time, I've been saying he woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I assumed he was taking her to school and getting ready for school. But in reality, I don't know what time he woke me up. The sun was out a little bit. It was still a little dark. And I was very sleepy when I got up. I was kind of drunk. But he came in to walk the dog, to put the leash on the dog and walk him.
Was the dog in the room with you?
Yes.
So did he wake you up on purpose, or was it just kind of like the causation of him opening the door and you realizing somebody was there?
Yeah, the causation of him putting the leash on the dog, because the way the dog reacted, he gets very nervous and will urinate if you put the leash on him too directly. You have
So I wonder if this is where, because we know there was one crock found in her room and one crock found in the dumpster. And I'm wondering if that's when he was grabbing the crocs and he got one of her crocs. And then Jen woke up, and so he wasn't able to get the other croc. If we're going to go with Jen didn't know that she was actually deceased, because that makes sense to me. And that would explain why the one croc was found in her room. Some people say it's just a
you have to
story.
like be nice and talk to him. Yeah, he's a very he's a nervous dog. Yeah. So I got up to try to help him, and he said, "No, go back to sleep. I'm fine. I got this." And I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah." So I laid back down and went to sleep. Um, I heard noise in the kitchen, but I'm not sure who it could have been getting ready.
Hey,
But
occasionally
it could have
classy. Thank you for being here.
been Stephan. It could have been any of my roommates. Um, I fell asleep again, and I didn't wake up, I think, until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever leave the bedroom in that time frame?
No.
So he came in, you were kind of woken up based on him interacting with the dog, but you stayed in bed, you didn't leave the bedroom. So if you woke up at like 9, so you never
That morning.
Monday morning.
No.
So the last time you would have been Sunday evening?
Sunday.
Okay.
Hey, infamous truth teller. Oh, yeah.
You're fine.
I want to see her.
Take a minute. Okay? While you take a minute, I was going to ask you earlier, has anybody reached out to you during the time that you've been investigating this? About had anything else? Negative, positive, neutral?
My best friends have all been in contact with me, just to try to help me. There's like, setting up Facebook groups, flyers.
No negative.
I dropped the link for you, Infamous Truth Teller. And anybody that wants to come up and talk, you're more than welcome. And Catwoman, I see your comments. I just wanted to let you know that I see you and that you're good. I just trying not to highlight too many or talk too much. You know what I mean? Okay, cool.
Negative interactions with the public or anything? Nobody's like reached out with tips or accusations or anything like that?
Not that I've seen. I've been avoiding social media because my family's telling me to not go on.
Would you be okay with our digital people looking at your phone to verify there's no stuff coming into socials, text, things like that?
That's fine.
Do you have the phone?
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll plug it in, they'll do a forensic download of it so they have the data. That way they can go through it and say, we did receive things, we didn't receive things, here's the communications in and out, things like that, so we can verify that for you.
That's fine.
What's your password on it?
030288.
030288.
So I just want to point out, like, I'm assuming 88 is the year that she might have been born, or it's definitely not the year Maddie was born, right? And like, I don't know. I know a lot of my passwords, especially when my first child was born, like my password, my PIN code to everything was her birthday. And a lot of people are like, when you have kids, your password, your codes and stuff, a lot of times is their birthday for a lot of people. And I mean, again, it just goes to, if we want to talk about Jen being selfish, 88's definitely not the year Maddie was born. So now, does that mean that she's selfish just because she has that as her passcode? Absolutely not. But when we take into consideration how much she talks about her need and her sleep and all of that, and the way it seems that she didn't ever put Maddie first, like occasionally Classy just said, I mean, it's another patch on the quilt of the story that tells me Jen Soto was worried about Jen Soto, not Maddie.
From my perspective, my opinion, she seemed really hands off with Maddie. Like, it seems like she put Maddie on a lot of other people, unfortunately, Stephan and other family members, because, like, from what I remember saying, like, from her birthday party, grandma had the birthday money. Well, why would grandma have the birthday money? It's just like, it makes you think. I mean, my phone passwords are, debit card passwords are a combination of different dates and stuff. But, it's like, she's got her kid medicated. Yeah, kids can sometimes, it's okay for kids to be medicated to an extent, but the younger they are, I mean, she's a teenager, she's hormonal. I mean, we don't know how hormonal we are. Allegedly, there were pregnancy tests and they weren't Jen's because she and Stephan were not together that way, apparently.
Right.
But so we don't know what level Maddie's hormones were on. 13-year-olds are, holy crap. I'm not looking forward to that age because I remember that age. It's a big, crazy mess at that time. But, it seems like she was trying to medicate her kid, medicate herself numb. She was more interested in being numbed off, than she was on anything when she was talking about how, well, do I want to be sexually active or do I want to be on my meds? I'd rather be on my meds. And I'm like, you just don't want to feel, in my opinion. It's like meds are great to an extent. Some people do need to be on them for life, but they're not the answer for everybody, and they're not to completely numb you. They're to help you through. They're as like an aid along with other therapies if you're on them due to trauma and everything. There are some chemical imbalances that meds help with, like for bipolar, for example, depression and stuff like that, and you're like schizophrenia and stuff, but they're not the solution. That's usually with therapy and psychiatric care and all kinds of other things. Like it's supposed to be a hybrid, not just to numb you, tell you're stupid and don't care.
Yep. Absolutely, I agree 100% with that. And the fact that Maddie was on medication for bipolar at the age of 12 really sticks out to me as well, because that's way too young in my opinion.
Yeah, that's more like my daughter is ADHD. Like, she's been in therapy since her dad and I split up, because one of the first things I did when I knew her dad and I were going to split up, I got her a therapist because I'm like, she's going to need help. Any kid's going to need help in this situation. And her therapist is like, she's very much ADHD, but obviously we're not going to medicate her at this time because she's too young. I mean, in some extreme cases, yeah, some kids do, but they do coping mechanisms and everything until they're a little bit older because hormones come into play and it's going to screw everything up. It can affect the way they age and their development and everything.
Yep, absolutely. Was that that was Rubber's dog? Hey, Rubber Ramada and
Yes.
infamous killer.
I'm sorry. Yes, my dog. He's over here whining out the window. That's why I have my mic ended.
Oh, puppy.
He's
so sweet.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Sorry, never mind. I totally I even lost what I was gonna say because he distracted me. So, but I'll be quiet. I'm gonna play in the background.
Okay, you're fine. If y'all have something to say, just tell me to pause, and I will pause it, and y'all can say whatever you wanted to say.
I just want to, can I say something really fast? So I don't want to talk over. I have ADHD too, so just forewarning, I'm going to try to hone myself in. So I just don't want to let you know that I don't purposely interrupt on purpose, just because I have 15 bright ideas sometimes. So you could just tell me, "Whoa, Nelly," and I'll be okay. I take offense, but just wanted to say, like, she had some posts. I can't remember what channel I was watching when this first happened, and she had some posts, like some old blog posts and stuff, like on her MySpace, and she had, I think it was like her, like, some old social media platforms from way back when, and she had a lot of issues with her, a lot of disconnect with her own personal family as well. So I think she's been dealing with this mental, you know what I mean, decline, and whatever her mental illness is, or whatever, kind of hangups she's been having. I'm not making excuses for her whatsoever.
Right.
Like 100% not making excuses, but she had a lot of issues with, because it always talked about her having disagreements with her mom, and her mom wasn't very nice to her. Like, by what she put her post, like she was like, "Well, you're not going to come back here," kind of thing, because she went off to college, and she would just basically tell her, "You're not going to come back here. Where are you going to go?" Kind of thing.
Right.
So they had a lot of disconnect. So, but that's it. That's all I want to say.
No, you're good. It might have been Plunder. Plunder always has a lot of good posts and stuff. And I mean, not to get too personal, but me and my mother didn't get along for a long time, and I left when I was 17, and she told me that I couldn't go back there either. But I don't know. I guess people deal with it differently.
I think they gave her that home to stay in because of Maddie. Because they know kind of where her mind was at. Where her head's at, and she kind of probably was like that. Probably had issues, her whole life. If she's manic, or if she's bipolar.
Yeah,
My mom was bipolar. Yeah.
And it could be part of the symptom, because like I said, I was bipolar too, or am. I just use natural remedies now, but like at the same time, I mean, I guess everybody's different, but I wouldn't have medicated until, I mean, I say that, but I did have a substance abuse issue that I got, that was a long time ago,
Yeah.
not, doing anything
You
now.
self-medicate when you're not on your right medication. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, so I guess I can say I did self-medicate till I was numb, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Because if
questions.
you don't understand it, if you don't know you have, you know what I mean? A lot of times there's a lot of breaks in the system. So if you don't know you have issues, or if you don't go talk to somebody, or reach out, or try to find the right person to talk to be able to properly diagnose if you might have something, a lot of people self-medicate with substances because, they're trying to, get that whatever feeling it is that they're feeling, trying to get it to be numb, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see that. And Toxic brought up a question that a lot of us have had in this case, and that was, could she be doing it because she knew what was going on between Maddie and Stephan? And again, I don't want to be mean, but when you take into account the text message saying, "I can't risk it," but most importantly, the Woody Allen comment that she didn't want a Woody Allen situation, I have to question, did she know,
Yeah. I think that's why she slept a lot and was always working, to conveniently not be there. You know what I mean? To
Right.
conveniently act like, kind of not be present because she's not present. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I think.
But those, just throwing this out there too, those with bipolar, also, so long as you take your meds and you're taking them correctly, as AS said before, everything's fine, but then you start feeling better and you stop taking your
Mm-hmm.
meds, and then
Mhm.
it's a domino
You think that
effect.
you don't need the medication because the meds are making you level. So
Right.
they stop taking it. They're like, well, I'll just stop taking it. I don't need it because they're
Right.
Right.
level. Yeah, that's
Right.
where the roller coaster comes in.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, and then Toxic said, "Do we know for sure that Maddie was bipolar, or is Jen saying that to cover up possible meds in her system?" I think that she was seeing a doctor that prescribed her bipolar medication, but I don't know. Um, but I mean, again, I question because how many times have you heard about a 12-year-old being on bipolar medication, unless they're like seriously like have been institutionalized, possible schizophrenia, things
Okay,
like that.
but
Like not
did she
common.
didn't she say that she was on Adderall?
She
Yeah.
is. Yep.
But okay, see, and I have a bit of my tongue. I have a huge problem with that because even my doctor with my bipolar and borderline, and maybe it's from the borderline personality, I'm not sure, but my doctor says with my OCD and my ADHD, they will not give me Adderall as a medication, being the bipolar meds that I'm on. They won't allow those meds to mix.
Yeah, there's certain ones that you can't mix with the stimulant. My boyfriend he's schizoaffective and complex PTSD. He's on the antipsychotic shot Invega, and they won't give him a stimulant ADHD med. They do give him, I think it's Strattera, but that's a non-narcotic, non-stimulant ADHD med. It works a little bit differently
They do
because
like
stimulants.
Wellbutrin, I think it's called. I think they do that too.
Wellbutrin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was on Wellbutrin for a while, and like I used to be on a hell of a lot more because I went through, some crap. And it was, thankfully a lot of it was situational, and I've come down a lot from a lot of the meds I'm on. But I was on Wellbutrin, I was on Buspar, I was on Adderall, I do Lexatine,
Wow.
which is Cymbalta. Now I'm like on Adderall and
You just gotta
Cymbalta.
find the right combination. Like sometimes people gotta find the right
Yep.
combination. It takes time to find
Yeah.
the
That
right
and
for you.
that and different therapies too. Like, I'm going to school for psychology, and I'm a big fan of different therapies, talk therapy and different behavioral things like EMDR. And I learned about this really cool one called brain spotting, which is it's not so much newer, but not a lot of psychologists will do it because it's very intense and you have to do it in person. But that kind of stuff where it kind of retrains your brain and rewires you a little bit, especially with the trauma driven illnesses. It's pretty
Oh wow.
cool. It's
That sounds
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that all the time to retrain your brain. I say you gotta
Yes.
switch out, like if you have negative self-talk, you gotta switch out one of those negative words and just put in a positive adjective. You know what I mean? And just kind of just do it one by
Absolutely.
one. And then your brain is a muscle too, so you're just retraining it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's hard sometimes, but we have to do our best. And thankfully, we have a wonderful community here. Like I was going through some stuff, like last week and whatnot, and you just reach out to people. Like we've got an awesome Discord. You just message, "Hey, I'm struggling," and we're all like, "Okay, what's going on? We're here for you." It's
Yeah.
nice to have those people to reach out to.
And I'd like
Yeah.
to just kind of be a voice for people that are used to, like, I'm an only child, and so my mom passed away, so I don't have any brothers or sisters. It's just me and my kids. So I'm used to being solo and doing things by myself, no matter how much it is. And my friend always used to tell me, you got to let people help you. She would scold me all the time because I'm so used to doing things by myself. So people that might be in that kind of situation, like, don't be afraid to reach out. If if you have a connection with somebody or whatever, just like reach out if you're feeling that low, because sometimes it can grab a hold of you. And if you don't talk it out or whatever the case may be, whatever you need to do, you just kind of get darker and deeper in the hole. So you got to make sure that you let people help you and let people, be there for you if they're willing to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I have that problem too. Joy said, yeah, when you're bipolar, your brain is sped up, and the last thing you need is more speed. Toxic said, Apriprazole or Abilify discinnamate. Apriprazole is an atypical antipsychotic that is approved for bipolar disorder in children aged 10 to 17. It can be used as a monotherapy or adjunctively with, and I'm sure there's another comment. So that stood out to me because it's for children 10 to 17. Um, so maybe it's becoming more common for children like to be medicated with bipolar, but I would hope that there would be extensive therapy along with that.
You don't think
And
that maybe she did that because she's so used to taking her medication, you know what I mean? Just kind of dosing and just not being present. And like maybe she was kind of passing that generational, habit. I
it's
guess you could say, I
possible.
don't know.
It's
Mm.
possible, but would you get a doctor to approve that without the symptoms? You know what I mean? Like a psychiatrist has to
Right.
approve it and prescribe the medication.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
And
she could
usually
be,
they have to go to a couple of appointments before they actually diagnose you with anything. You have to go to like probably 3 or 4 before they actually properly diagnose you.
Mhm.
right. And they could be, the power of suggestion is really strong too. What I've noticed, like parents can be like, she could be like gaslighting her into thinking she has these symptoms too. That's, like almost like they used to call it Munchausen by proxy, but fictitious syndrome or something like that, by proxy, where the parents make the kids think they're sick, like the Gypsy Rose Blanchard thing, that big case and whatnot. But,
Yeah.
just puts it in their head that you're sick, you're crazy, you have these problems. And then, then Maddie would parrot that to the doctor, which is, that's possible, like she was being
Mhm.
groomed. She had to have been groomed by Stephan if they're talking about, her potentially loving him and everything like that. So how hard would it be for them to make her think that she's got these psychological issues?
Right, and
Right.
she's the only child in the house
Right.
too, with all the adults, so she's gonna assume that they know what they're talking about because she doesn't know any better. You know what I mean? As she got older, I'm sure she started figuring things out when she was getting to that age
Mhm.
where that's what it was. She was starting to, kind of become more independent in her own mind, and I think that's where this unfortunately maybe this is where you know what I mean, why it happened the way it happened because she started kind of figuring out, oh, I got my own independent thoughts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's got friends she could be talking to, and her friends are like, "Hey, that's not
Mhm.
right."
It's not yeah.
Who knows how much she was disclosing to her friends, because wasn't it like somebody said there was a text where she said she wanted to run away and live in the woods after she turned 13
Mhm.
or something?
Yeah.
I remember that from the,
And I think
part of the
too, it's
case.
the family. They didn't like Stephan. They'd never liked Stephan. So why didn't they intervene or try to be a little bit more, or like preventive? If they didn't like him and they already sensed something from him all this time, I don't understand why they just kind of sat idle. I know they can't be like they're present because they're not their primary parent, but if they were so concerned, I would be like trying to intervene, somehow, some way, at least have her come to my house after school or whatever, just try to do as much as I could to prevent if I
Mhm.
sensed it.
Well, they were like the grandmother did have Madeline a lot, and at the looking from a parent's perspective, just because you don't like your daughter's boyfriend doesn't necessarily mean you can step into their lives and say you can't date them.
Yeah.
When the child's grown, you know what I mean. Like I'm sure if she knew that
Mhm.
there was things going on, like we know were going on now, she would have
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
did, but she
Yeah,
probably
that's
didn't
why I
know.
think that they gave her that townhome too, because so they kind of knew where she was and she was close to them. Maybe that's their way of trying to be able to keep an eye on things and maybe try to keep her safe.
Right.
Alright.
Absolutely.
Real quick, I wanted
I'm
to
gonna
say,
jump
Jenny.
down, guys. I don't want to talk over your
Oh,
okay.
you're good.
You're
All
great.
right. Take
Thank you
care.
for coming up.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming up. Um, Real quick, Jeannie Jen said one thing that has always stood out to me is how Jen Soto and Stephan Sterns talked through Google Meet. Did she not want conversations documented on her phone? And I saw that and I was like, wow, that's a really good point and a really great question. Uh, I come back down to the bottom now. Um, and La Lazisha, thank you for being here. Lazisha says, I'm behind, but Delphi is a lie. Richard Allen is literally a fall guy. I very much thought he was bridge guy, but boy, was I wrong. Odinism is just a nice way of saying, oh goodness, ex-con biker game. Well, yeah, but I don't think biker gangs should be, not all biker gangs are bad. They actually do a lot of good. But I appreciate your comment, and thank you for that. You'll catch up eventually and hear me. So we'll get back to the video now. Thank you guys for coming up and voicing your opinions.
My birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
My birthday's tomorrow. Right.
Today's the first. I didn't even know.
Selfish.
Yeah, I'm questioning, like, I forget, I think it was, occasionally Classy said that you can see during this interview, the police keep getting text messages. So, occasionally Classy, assumes or, thinks that, they got the information about them finding Madeline's body, and that's why they keep coming back and forth. And then once they got the information, they start going real hard at Jennifer. So for her to be this upset and Madeline not to have been found right now, I mean, I have to question, maybe she didn't know, but on the other hand, it could all be an act. I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot. I got a lot of questions. Because again, the pregnancy test, the Woody Allen situation, the text message, we can't risk it. It's weird. Hey, Pinto.
This is the worst birthday ever.
You know, that's some rough sounding paper towels.
Yeah. Like the cheapest kind of 68-cent roll at Walmart. She's crying more for her birthday, though. It seems right here.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's very selfishly crying moment. Very selfish crying moment.
Right.
That
Jenny
was
Jen said,
supposed to be. I'm sorry.
oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
Was that on Jen's birthday?
Yeah. She said today is her birthday, and she's crying because of that.
Sarah, she didn't realize it until she was asked the unlock code for her phone. And then it was like the little red flag went off. Oh, crap, it's my birthday. Now I'm supposed to cry. It just really struck me as wrong.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and Jenny Jen said crying because she even said that she's crying because she said it's her worst birthday. Her worst birthday. So again, that goes back to the selfishness that we see in Jen Soto.
I wonder how Maddie felt about her damn birthday. Oh, shit.
Right. Yeah, and we know how she felt. She was upset. Her mama didn't show up. She wanted more family members there. She had hyped up her birthday, and not a lot of people came. The best friend said there was one gift on the table. Her grandma had her money. So, I mean, again, but no tears for Maddie's birthday. They just talked about how wonderful it was and all the gifts she got and how happy she was. And we know for a fact that she wasn't.
Yeah, 13's a big deal for girls, man. Like, you're a teenager. It's the first year that you got teen and you're becoming a woman. And sadly, what she was going through, hopefully most girls don't have to go through. But that I remember when I turned 13, that was a big deal. Like, oh my God, I'm a teenager, it's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a big thing for girls, young ladies. Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. Reading something else comments.
That way they can get that going so we can get it back to you before around here. We don't keep it from you.
Okay.
So you said about 9 o'clock on Monday, you wake up?
Yeah. I wake up. I have a doctor's appointment. I leave sometime between 9:30 and 9:45, and I head over there. It's blood work appointment. The appointment's for 10:15, but they take a while to see me.
Where was your appointment at?
LabCorp. And do you want me to tell you exactly which one?
Sure.
Oh wait, I have my phone.
When we get it back, we'll come back to it.
It's, if you need to Google it, it's the LabCorp across the street from the Loop in Kissimmee.
Okay, got it.
Had my appointment. I finished there sometime between 11:15, 11:15. Then I headed home. When I got home, Stephan was there. I had talked to him a little bit earlier while I was waiting for my blood work appointment, and he let me know, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I left my phone at home by accident. School, everything went great. She got up super early, got up really quick. She slept most of the way in the car. I asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's, but she said no."
Y'all are bringing up good points. And I'm gonna go ahead and state it as well. She was weeping one moment and laughing the next. So she just laughed, and right now she's back to normal.
Yep. That was the plan, was that they were gonna stop at McDonald's that morning and go get breakfast.
Okay.
He said that he had gone to the vape shop and they were closed and they didn't open. So he waited there for a while and left, and then said he was gonna go back later. When I saw him at the house, everything was normal. We were chatting, we were talking. He was acting normal. He was sitting in my computer chair, just messing around on his phone. While we were hanging out, he mentioned something along the lines of, "Oh man, I've been avoiding this phone update for a really long time. I should probably update it now." And I said, "Do it. Don't avoid it. Just get it over with." And he updates his phone and then tells me, "Oh my God, I don't know what button I just pressed, but I just factory reset my entire phone." I said, "How the hell does that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone?" He goes, "Yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened."
And we know, I don't know if you guys have ever reset your phone or your kid's tablet. I've done it. I just did a reset on the kid's tablet because it was messing up. You have to it prompts you like 3 or 4 times. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? Like,
you've got to jump through hoops to do the factory reset. This man sits on a throne of lies, and she might too. I'm kind of starting to think that way.
yeah. It just doesn't make sense. And taking into account the detectives got in trouble, I wonder if it's the ones that gave her immunity and they got in trouble for giving her limited immunity, which means she can be charged later. And they say that she could be charged if she found she was lying, and she was definitely lying in that interview.
Yeah, I know. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead, love.
I know it ticks a lot of us off that she's got, immunity in some capacity because we're pissed off because of this case is just horrific. It's got to be very strategic for the police because who knows, this could be an entire ring. They could be setting on something huge here that we don't know about, and she could be the key to helping get that information.
Yeah.
They're often willing to sacrifice, some charges on somebody for something much bigger, like the much bigger picture where they can take down, a lot more horrible people if, they charge her, either they don't charge her or they charge her with lesser crimes.
Yeah, and then you take into account the Santa and St. Cloud. I mean, I wonder if they're, I mean, and the modems in the storage unit, it would make sense that there's something bigger going on there.
Yeah, those modems are sketch to me.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And I said, oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks. Later on, he tells me he's going to go back out, and I think this is around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Still on Monday?
Yes, still Monday. 12:30 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He tells me he's going to go back out. He's going to stop at a few gaming shops, and then he'll meet me at the house at 2:30 so we can get together. He left. I hung out in the house for a while. Just waiting for 2:30 to roll around.
Cozy says she's so glib when she says, "Oh, that's unfortunate." Yeah, and the whole instead of like when you mess up saying something, you'll say, "Oh, my bad, I meant," or "I'm sorry, I meant this." She says, "Just kidding, just kidding." Like that's always irritated the crap out of me as well.
2:30 rolls around, and I'm already calling Stephan, and he's not picking up his phone. 2:30 comes, I leave. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him going, I just got back home. I left my phone home again. I'm so sorry. How long ago did you leave? And I said, about 10 minutes ago. He goes, I'm so sorry. I missed it. I really wanted to go with you. And I was just like, it's fine. I figured he wasn't going to make it because when I looked at the time when he left and said he was going to visit 3 shops, I didn't think he had enough time to visit them. He told me while he was gone that he got a flat tire somewhere on 182. The wheel just shredded and fell apart. So he was changing the tire, and it took him a really long time to do it.
So they're talking about changing the tire, and we know the tire got messed up, but it got messed up when he was dumping the body, and that's what took him so long to do that. Joy said, "I wonder if it's because her mental illness that she's not getting charged, or do they need her for the trial?" If you think about other people who have gotten charged for horrendous crimes, if mental illness was an issue, then they plead insanity. So I would think it would be because supposedly they need her for the trial. But again, I question why, because you have a substantial amount of evidence against Stephan Sterns. So why do you need her? Yeah, she called him on the phone, but he left his phone at home. I found that weird too. How are they talking back and forth to each other if he left his phone at home? Norma, thank you for being here today, and it's good to see you.
Yeah, that might have been a slip up on her part.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Freudian slip.
He said he hurt his thumb while changing the tire, like the frame or something slipped and something pinched his finger, and he ended up having to yank it out. And he said he hurt his finger.
I want to touch on something real quick. When you were calling him, he eventually told you that he left his phone there. Did you hear the phone at the house?
No. If it was anywhere, it would have been upstairs and I wouldn't have heard it. It would have been in the guest
Do
bedroom.
you typically go upstairs?
Who, me?
Yes.
Only if I'm doing laundry.
That was all. I was just curious if you had heard the phone when you were trying to call him that day.
I didn't. So he tells me all that. I get off the phone with him. I'm waiting. I wait for about an hour and 10 minutes. 4:04, the bell rings, and I'm waiting. I'm the first in line. And she doesn't come out.
You were in your car?
I was in my car, in the car line, yeah. At this point, it's been a few minutes. She should have been out by now because she's usually one of the first kids out. She knows I'm the front line, and I'm holding up the line behind me because there's kids getting in the cars behind and they're all waiting. They can't get around me, right? So I start calling her, forgetting that I have her phone on me. I had found her phone earlier that morning. She had left it at home, and I brought it with me because she does this often. She does leave her phone.
Jenny Jen said maybe she got that limited immunity because they thought she would provide more information when in reality she didn't really, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so too. I think they gave her immunity thinking she would admit to some shit, but she didn't. She lied.
Where was the phone at in the house?
It was on top of the dresser in her bedroom.
Downstairs? I never been in your house.
Downstairs.
Okay.
So, just so you know, I have a 4-bedroom townhouse.
Okay.
The living room has a partition in it, a fake wall kind of thing. That's got her bedroom in it. That's got a bed, a dresser, and a desk on it. Does she sleep there? No. She'll hang out there. She'll use her computer and hang out there. That's her hangout spot. But she primarily sleeps with me every night in my bed. That's because I know the roommates wake up super early in the morning. They're going to be in the kitchen. They're going to wake her up if she's sleeping out in the living room. So I don't.
So your bedroom downstairs, her makeshift bedroom downstairs, guest bedroom upstairs.
Yes. Her dresser, her phone was on her dresser. When I found it, I was like, oh my god, she's putting the phone out. It's great. I brought it with.
I think it's weird her phone was in her actual room, considering that she didn't use it that much. I mean, if she used it to hang out in, okay, maybe, but I would think the phone would have been upstairs. I know the phone was upstairs because I think she unfortunately passed away upstairs, and then he brought the phone downstairs and set it on her dresser. Hey, indie girl.
Why doesn't she have her own space? She's got her own room, but her hangout spot is downstairs, and then she sleeps with her mom. It's kind of weird. My daughter has her own room, and she usually sleeps in her own room. And if she wants, I mean, we have a small little 2-bedroom apartment. We don't have a big 4-bedroom townhouse, but you know what I mean? That was one of the most important things for me, is to make sure my daughter had her own space. And if I could only afford, say, a 1-bedroom, I would probably dedicate that room for my daughter and sleep on the couch, or, if it was just her and I, sleep with her because she's little. She's not a teenager.
Yeah, that's the way it is at most houses, but all she had was a little partition off of the living room.
No, she needs more than that. Poor girl.
Yeah. And then you hear the counselor talk about how Stephan would sit on the couch right there and she could never get away from him, and there's holes in that partition, so if she was changing or anything, he could see right through it.
No, hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, it's devastating.
With me to the school because I was just gonna yell at her and then just hand it to her so she could have something to do on our way home. 4:10 rolls around and she's still not out, or 4:09, and then at this point I'm feeling the pressure from the cars behind me. I'm like, okay, they're all full, they're all waiting for me to leave and she's not here yet. So I take off and I'm thinking, maybe I missed her, maybe I forgot.
And that's a possibility. Joy said it was like subconsciously she knew her boyfriend was doing that to her daughter, but she was desperate and lonely and wanted to keep him around. And that is a possibility, but there's so many other things that make me question so much. Hey, Liddy said her sighting is significant. A lot of people
I question. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I question her wanting to keep him around because what she was saying, they didn't have an intimate relationship. You know what I mean? From what she was saying, they didn't really spend time together. They weren't intimate. They didn't act like a couple. They were basically roommates. And he was abusing her daughter. And so was it the money? Was he having money coming in that she was using him for? Allegedly speculating, because some people are speculating maybe he was getting money from selling images. So was that part of it for her? Oh, don't leave. You've got this. You're part of this supposed enterprise or ring of horrible people, and you're making money off of it. It's just, ugh, just gives me the frickin' willies.
Yeah, and that's about the only thing that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just and I'm trying to be considerate of the fact that she could be a victim in this, but I just don't see how.
I forgot to tell her I was picking her up from school today because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working. I don't know if she knew if I was off. So I asked, I don't know if I told her that I was going to get her. So I left thinking maybe she walked. That's pretty close to school. If I can't pick her up at school, that's where I tell her to. I drove the path she would have walked. I didn't see her. I got to the office. And she goes, no, it's a little too early. And I said, okay, let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk and just wait. And I parked and I waited.
Yeah, Indie Girl, he had been gone for months before this one night when he came back and everything happened. Yep, you're right. I'm sorry that you went through that, Joy, and I'm glad that you felt that way. Occasionally, Classy said her whole behavior is extremely suspicious. Then her family not being with her that week, Madeline Soto was missing. Yep, and in the 911 call, they say how convenient it is that Maddie didn't have her cell phone. And I mean, I'm just quite because everybody sees issues with her except her supposedly. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm trying to be considerate, but it's just she makes it so hard. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had to play. I apologize.
I waited. I'm not sure how long I waited. Maybe somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. She still wasn't there, and I looked at the time, and I'm like, okay, she should be back at my mom's office by now. Maybe she took a different path, and I didn't see. So I went, no, she's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. So I call. I don't know if I text or I call. I think I text her.
Zio, that's a good question. Zio said if he was gone for months, then why do we suspect she was pregnant? He left in December and then came back in February. There was supposedly Jen doesn't know if there was a test missing from under the cabinet. There possibly could have been, but we're not sure about that. Um, she told Stephan something that night that made him really nervous when he went to his parents' house and he was trying to figure out what to do about a situation, and she was sending him parenting coins. So if she had gotten that way before he left, she would have been maybe like let's say it happened when he left in December, right before he left or something. It would have been about 2 months. Um so maybe she told him that night or something and was like excited about it, talking about parenting coins or something, and he just found out that night. Because it would have been 2 months, it wouldn't have been deep in it. And it would explain to me why he was so freaked out at his parents' house, because how are you going to say that, let's say that of course he was thinking about an abortion or something. If she was, how are you going to take a freaking 13-year-old and say, yeah, she needs to get an abortion? Like, there's going to be questions. So I think it's possible, but it has not been confirmed. And I also don't want to put that on that child, because it could have been the fact that she had a crush on somebody and he was worried about her trying to do those things with that boy. Like, there's several other options. That's just a possibility. If we want to speculate and go down that road, that's what I'm thinking as far as that goes.
And I asked, hey, or I called her. I asked, and she said, no, she didn't make it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? She was dropped off close to the school. She should have been in school. She goes, no, she didn't make it to first, second period.
So I find it weird that Jen always tells everybody that she talks to, the best friend, the police, the principal, the teachers, everybody she talks to, like when they say she didn't make it to the school, she says, "What do you mean she was dropped off close to the school?" Like, I don't understand why you say that. What do you mean she was dropped? Like, you make sure to tell everybody that she was dropped off close to the school. Why wouldn't it be like, what do you mean she wasn't there? Why is she making sure to tell everybody she was dropped off close to the school? I have a question about that. And that would be, if I want to speculate down that road, I would speculate, is she saying that because she wants to make sure her story is straight and she's oversharing, like, making sure that everybody knows, well, she said she was dropped off right up the street from the school. That's my question with that. Like, why are you so determined to make sure everybody knows she was dropped off up the street from the school?
I said, please check with the rest of your friends, see if she made it to any of her other periods. At some point in this, I emailed one of her teachers asking, actually emailed a few of her teachers, and two of them responded. One of them said, no, she did not make it to.
Bad girl said because she was embarrassed over the car, supposedly. Right, I understand that, but like, if your child is missing, is it necessary for you to tell everybody, what do you mean she didn't make it to school? She was dropped off up the street from the school. Like, why are you going to reiterate that to the best friend, the teachers, the principal, every single body you talk to? Why wouldn't you be like, what do you mean she didn't make it to school? I need to know what happened, like, at all today. I would be asking other questions other than trying to reiterate to every single person I talked to make sure they knew she was dropped off up the street from the school. Like, I don't find it pertinent information for everybody to know unless you're oversharing to make sure that everybody's like, well, hey, she said she was dropped off up the street from the school, because you're trying to convince yourself and everybody else of the script is kind of where I was going with that. Just, speculating. I never realized she was claiming that Madeline was dropped off near the school, like setting up a narrative. Right. Yes. Occasionally, Classy. Exactly. Why is she trying to, it's like she's trying to set up a narrative.
To class, and I checked her attendance for the rest of the day. She wasn't in school at all. Like, he sent me a screenshot of like her attendance, and it said 0, 0, 0.
You still have that on the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to know what app, I'll tell you what app. It's a special school app. He said she was missing all day. And at this point, I start to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I head to go check her attendance at school. But
that can't be the case. She was dropped off. Again, false narrative?
Have closed already. The lights were off. I could see a student sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off, everything was closed. They wouldn't allow me in. I think at this point the teacher had responded to me and told me she didn't make it to school at all. I start having like a freak out panic attack.
Are you still just you at this point? Is it you and Stephan?
It's me and my sister. And I want to say one of them is Catherine. I start panicking.
You're fine, Donnie. Thank you for sharing.
And I think at this point I call Stephan and I tell him, hey, because she didn't make it. She's absent today. There's no attendance of her at all today. I'm like, right now. And he said, okay, I'll be there. And he came to the office. And
that's redacted.
There for like 3 hours, I think. Eventually I contact one of my friends whose husband works, or ex-husband works for OCP, or for you guys.
Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I messaged him and I talked to him and I asked him what I should be doing because you guys aren't responding quick enough.
Would you know his name? Where he works?
Yes. Nick Mann.
Okay.
Or Mahon.
Do you know what he does here?
I think he works for SWAT.
Okay.
Sure.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
He tell you to wait.
I can't remember anymore. I think he let us know that there were other kids missing in the area, which is why you guys weren't responding quick enough.
Like, how do you not remember? I have questions.
I think an 8 and a 9-year-old had gone missing around the same time too. In a playground, they forgot to tell. They didn't tell their mom they were going to the playground or something like that. So all the cops were over there on that side of Hunters Creek. My sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, thought it would be a good idea to go to the park and talk to a cop there and see if he could bring a cop back, and that's what he did.
Okay.
And then at that point, that's when the cops started asking us questions, taking a report. Interviewing me, they interviewed Stephan. They asked Stephan to take them back to the location where he dropped them off, and he showed them wherever he.
And remember, when we watched that video, he did show him where he supposedly dropped Maddie off, but was like, it's somewhere between this neighborhood or the next couple of neighborhoods. And, you know, asking him, did you find any cameras? Did you find any cameras? Because you know, allegedly speculating, I think he picked out a spot where there wasn't a bunch of cameras and said he dropped her off there. Thank you, Cozy, for being here. Mary said, why would she go to the school to pick up Maddie if she knows about at least the unaliving? Well, if she knew about the unaliving, she might do it to make it look good. You know what I mean? To make it look like she did go to pick her up, like she doesn't know anything. But I don't know. I can't say for sure that she knew about the unaliving. Indie Girl said both her and Stephan have them clean myself of everything attitude, excuse after excuse. Yep. Norma said he didn't remember. Jen is a selfish drama queen that's all about herself, said Bad Girl. I agree.
Where he dropped her off. They were looking for cameras along the path, and I don't think they found any cameras along the way to see if there's any video recordings. I think.
Did Stephan go with them in their patrol cars, or did he drive himself and they followed? How did that work?
I think he went with them in the patrol car.
No, he didn't. He drove his car. Like, how do you not know that he drove his car? You would have seen him take off in his car. He drove his car. Jen said going to the school would be Jen's alibi because remember, according to her, she didn't know. Right. Thank you for that, Jenny Jen. And as far as the school goes, unfortunately, like a lot of them don't alert you that your child was absent for the day until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think we need to fix that in our school systems. I think you should go to homeroom first thing in the morning, and then they should take attendance. And if somebody's not there, there should be a call that goes out immediately. Like all they would have to do is take the list of people who weren't in homeroom to the office, and then somebody in there, the secretary or somebody, could start making phone calls. It's important.
Then they came back. And then that's it. Everything was done. The cops were done. We were done.
What time? You remember what time that was on Monday?
After dark. We say 8 o'clock.
What did you guys go do after that?
We were in separate cars, me and Stephan.
Okay.
I ugly cried on the way home. I shouldn't have been driving. But I ugly cried on the way home, and I went straight home. And then the first thing I did was call Fox 35 News to see if we can like air some missing children information out there.
When you say ugly crying, just overly emotional tears, makeup running, or is there like what is your meaning of ugly crying?
Rich Buddy said, in general, I wish YouTuber folks would spend time on the Epstein case versus cases like this that affect just one child. I guess because they can't get info on the Epstein case. I have tried to do the Epstein case, and just like with the Diddy and Jay-Z case, you get in trouble. Like the first video I did on Diddy talking about the documents that I had, I got in trouble for going over that. Like that you get it's you can't cover it because you'll get in trouble for talking about it. I have talked about it a little bit, and I don't know much about what's been going on in that because I haven't been following it. And I need to know more information before I talk about it, but it's just really, really hard to talk about Epstein and Diddy and all of them. They don't like for you to do that on here.
My hand is raised. I got something to say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, love.
Rich Buddy had also made the comment that the energy is being misdirected to cases that don't matter versus cases that should matter, in my opinion. But I don't mean to pick, and I don't mean to point at any one person, but every case matters. Every child matters. It doesn't matter whether it's one child or 50 children. They all matter. And the fact that this case is with Maddie, it has also led to other children that have been now demeaned or abused, basically, with this CSAM stuff. So this isn't just one child, Rich. And I just felt I needed to make that correction because this is going to affect many children.
Well,
yeah, I agree. I get what Rich Buddy is saying totally because, that is a big case, the Epstein case, the Diddy case, what have you. Those are big cases. There are so many people covering it, and there are people getting in trouble for covering it as well. But you never know with the cases that we cover, big, small, somebody we've never heard of, somebody that's just a friend of of this platform or the friend of this channel. You never know who you can help just by speaking out about a case. It could be, somebody could be listening and like, oh my God, I went through that, or I know somebody who's going through that, and it can cause a, kind of like the opposite of a domino effect. Dominoes, they get knocked over, but they could rise people up, and yeah, it could trigger people, but it could also help people rise up together, and it could help people, reach out for help. It's always, you never know who you're going to affect. And, big case, small case, I don't think it really matters at this point. It's just getting the information out there and having people hear it. And somebody random could stumble upon this and be helped by it. Exactly. And, in my humble opinion, in my years of experience with my own mental health and mental health of people that I care about, it could take the smallest thing for somebody to feel like they're heard and to want to reach out. It doesn't matter. You help one person, and it's a big deal for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I think that was said perfectly. As far as Epstein goes, I wish that there was more we could do, but anything we tried to do, or with the Jay-Z and Diddy case, like we're not police officers, so we're not going to be able to crack the case. And I understand what you say about, Stephan is arrested and in jail. A lot of people have more questions. Somebody, I think Bad Girl said, if Maddie was pregnant, then Jim would be arrested by now, which is a good point. But I think it falls more back on, like Sarah just said, you never know who you're going to help by talking about this case, who's going to feel opened up to maybe share what's going on in their life. And you never know who it could help. You could help by talking about these cases. And another thing about this is that I know this case very well because I had the FOIA documents and I got all these documents myself on this case. I did talk about Jay-Z and Diddy the other day, and somebody made a comment like, you don't know the facts of this case. And you know, they could have said it a little bit nicer, but they were accurate. I don't know a lot about that case, so therefore I can't really come on here as a YouTube streamer and talk about, like, I can look at it with you guys and we can talk about it together, but I shouldn't be doing a live on a case I don't know that much about. And so it made me realize that as a creator, I needed to do more research into that case in particular. And again, when I do share stuff, YouTube gets mad. Like, I got a couple copyright strikes on some of those, and Epstein, like, is the same thing. They don't want you to talk about it on here at all. So it's hard even for the creators who are talking about it. Yeah, you can come up. Drop the link. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just gonna say Eddie's asking for a link.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I pushed the wrong button. Hold on, let me pull that back up. And thank you for letting me know, Sarah.
No problem. Yeah, it's all about starting a conversation because, like, you never know who you're gonna help. That's what I always say. Like, my mom kind of gives me a hard time sometimes because I post a lot of mental health stuff on Facebook and a lot of, surviving narcissistic abuse and all that, stuff. And she's like, why do you post that? It makes you sound crazy. I'm like, first of all, it does not make me sound crazy to be a survivor of all this. Second of all, if I help one person, I'm happy if I inspire one person to reach out to get help or talk to somebody because they're in a crappy situation. Even if I don't know about it, I don't care. It's like, you know what? If you get something out of my post or out of a conversation, that is the most important thing to me.
Right. That's awesome. Eddie, you good?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how are you doing?
Well, this case is very close to me because it's in the same state I'm in. What I don't understand is how she got even limited immunity.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't understand. And the whole thing with, I tried covering, just make this known, I tried covering the Diddy case, and my internet, my stream, everything basically got shut down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. They got eyes on that kind of stuff. They got some kind of bots or algorithm set up to look for that stuff because they don't want certain things getting out. I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I love conspiracy theories, but I don't always buy into them. But I know that, there are bots and things that listen or look for certain keywords and stuff like that, and just on YouTube alone, and they're gonna strike you. That's how this stream, every once in a while, the screen will just go black because there's something on there it doesn't like.
Yep.
So there's a content creator that was covering the Diddy case, and a couple of people showed up to her address questioning her. How much are you getting paid to cover it? Yes.
Oh my God.
They were asking her how much you were getting paid to cover it, and they were offering to pay her to quit covering it, but she still covers it. So,
wow. That's interesting.
Yes. And the Epstein list hasn't even been released, so you can't talk about that.
Yeah, no. So there's like rumors about list, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything factual saying that it's been released. Hey, Kelly Mac. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and play this back. Thank you guys for coming up and talking. And Sarah, I think that you should always share your mental health stuff. You are really intelligent and smart, and you do help out a lot of people.
Thank you. I try.
I think I want Sarah to hook up with me.
Hey, Sarah, do you have a channel? Real quick, do you have a channel?
I don't, but I used to have a podcast, which was actually it was like a paranormal, fun, lighthearted podcast, but I just got too busy. Like, I'm in school full time, I work full time, I have a kid, I just got busy. So this is kind of what I do when I have like Sunday afternoon available.
What are you in school for, if you don't mind me asking?
Psychology. I'm getting my bachelor's in general psych, and then I'm going back for forensic psychology to get my master's.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Keep working hard.
I'm excited.
Yeah, she has all the information. Hey, guilty
I
of
don't have
crime.
all of it. Some of it, not all of
You
it.
you have educated
Yeah,
me.
the reason why I asked when you brought up mental health, I'm a survivor myself.
Yeah,
And
Eddie, I've been checking out your channel. I kind of love your streams. They are awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And if you're ever free to come up on panel, you're more than welcome.
Thanks, Eddie. That's really sweet of you.
Especially having a degree in psychology.
Well, I don't have a degree yet. I'm working on it.
All Things Serious has a channel, so if y'all wouldn't mind, go sub up to him. And Zaya has a channel too. She does Sarah Boone, so make sure y'all sub up to her. Ramada has a channel too, and she is working on learning StreamYard and all of the things so she can go live after Christmas. And I try to go in the chats of our family over here. If somebody's going live, I try to make sure I'm there. So if I know that there's a live going on, y'all will see me on these channels. Okay.
Yeah, all the love and support each other.
Yes, we love to love and support our speculating family.
That's why when allegedly Speculating comes into my channel, she can drop her link.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I appreciate that too. The fact that you made it able to for me to do that.
Yeah, nothing but love over there.
Yeah, I like it over there. It was really good. I heard that Zaya went up on panel after I left, and y'all had a really good conversation.
Yeah, Zaya is a very, very wonderful person.
Yeah, she's awesome. Pretty much everybody here is awesome. We have a great supportive community, and we try to keep it drama free. Every once in a while, it gets a little dramatic, but we do our best to kind of keep the conversation respectful and educational. And we just there's enough drama going on in YouTube in general. So, keep the positivity. Not everybody, that's all right once in a while to watch, but when you want to kind of chill out and get good conversation where people aren't bashing each other, this is a good place to be. And Eddie's channel too, and Zaya's channel, and Rubber's. We all do our best to keep things good.
Yeah. Rich Buddy, I will look into the lacrosse case. About what you said, the Luigi case is full of juice, so to speak. Did you see his grad photo? It has the Freemason emblem on the group plaque. About that, Zio found his manifesto and she put a video out on it, but there was another person that put a video out on his manifesto and they got demonetized. So they're trying to shut that case down too because they feel like that people are idolizing him. So like I appreciate you telling me about all these cases, but a lot of them they just don't like us to talk about. And real quick, hey Lisa, is me. Did you want to say
The
something?
YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say the YouTube man is can be very touchy sometimes. We maybe in America and the supposed whole free speech things, but there's free speech, but don't go here, don't go there, be careful about this and that. So, I guess in order to stay up and get our good conversations out there, sometimes we got to tiptoe around the rules.
Yep, absolutely. Toxic Orchid said that there's lots of info as well as as well in as the Gavel Drops Discord, and I will drop them in the description box. I can't access my live when I'm currently live. We are allowed to talk more freely over there, and we do on the Discord, and we can get those documents and actually look at the court documents in her As the Gavel Drops Discord. There's a few in mine as well. Paranormal, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. That was so sweet of you. You are so supportive. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And guilty of crime, that is such a sweet thing to say. I'm glad you came and checked us out over here.
See the road, and I shouldn't have been driving. Like, I was swerving.
Makes sense. Fox 35 come out to your house, or what was their response?
They responded the following day. I think we did a Zoom video interview.
Did Stephan follow you home?
I don't know if he followed me, but he drove home, yeah.
I mean, was it within a reasonable time when you got there? Like,
yes.
okay.
Yes. Drove home. We waited there. We didn't know what to do. I stayed up late. I think I called Fox 35. What else did I do? I think I had to eventually eat and take my medication. He told me he was going to go out cruising that night to go look for her. And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight.
I have questions about that night. PA Paranormal Fan gifted a membership. If you were gifted a membership by PA Paranormal Fan, please tell them thank you. And I will play our little video. It is from Polar Express, and it's almost Christmas. So let's play that real quick. Thank you, PA Paranormal Fan, for being so supportive. Y'all are so awesome and so supportive. Thank you. Thank you again for the $5 super sticker and the and then PA Paranormal Fan gifted a membership. That was super sweet of you guys. I dropped the Discord link in the description box of this video. So if you go to the description box, you guys can get it's one of the Discord links. It should be As the Gavel Drops Discord, because I usually am sharing hers. So that's where you can get documents on like almost any case. So definitely check them out. And hey, Natasha, thank you for being here. I know you've been here for a while, but I want to make sure I said your name.
Let's just wait to see if she comes home.
Oh, sorry, y'all.
And he said he was going to take a drive out. I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive, or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day, where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time. And I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, did you drive my car? And he said, yeah, remember I said I was going out last night? That's right, you did say that.
Can he tell you where he looked?
I think he said up and down 192. And I said, why there? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just looking. I was just trying to look anywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
Did you say if you found?
Okay, so that's going to be another important part of this. We know that Stephan dropped her body when he got the flat tire earlier that day between 12 and 2 p.m. The night that Madeline is reported missing, which is later that same day, this is going to be at night, he goes back to 192, and 192 is where her body was found. So again, so that puts him going out there the first night, okay, And what we're assuming is his car, or he could have been driving Jen's at this time because the donut's on his. And then the next night when they go to the hotel, he leaves from 3:45 in the morning until about 10 o'clock in the morning. And we know he went by his parents' house because he connected to the Wi-Fi, and it states that in the murder indictment videos. And one of them that I put out, I remember reading that part. He connected to his dad's Wi-Fi, and then he's still gone for all that time. He's got masturbation cream in his book bag. So that's 2 nights that he went back out to the scene of the crime. I'm wondering what he was doing out there. I don't know if he was crying and telling her goodbye. I don't know if he was doing other nefarious, sick things. I mean, I have to question when I consider the fact that Miss Marley, who was his ex-girlfriend, in her interview said that the only time he was ever fully at attention and was really happy in the moment was when he asked her to lay down and play dead and just not move at all. All of these things, when I add them together, it paints a horrific picture and makes me have a lot more questions. Hey, Janet Rawlings, and thank you for being here.
So my stomach just turned hearing that information. It's just,
I'm
ugh.
sorry.
No, I mean, it is what it is, you
Yeah.
know, kind of gives you the, ugh. But I am gonna hop down. Thank you so much for having me up and letting me hang out with you. And everybody has been amazing. I just got some stuff I gotta do, but I will be listening, definitely.
Okay,
Alrighty.
thank you for coming up and sharing
Good
some
seeing you
of your
again, Sarah.
extensive knowledge.
Good seeing you guys too. I will see you around and in chat and on Discord. I love you guys.
Oh, love you too. Thank
All
you.
right, take care.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, well.
When you were getting ready for bed, you were tired, emotional. Were you falling asleep when he left, or were you already asleep when he left?
I was already asleep when he left.
Okay. Did you sleep downstairs? Yeah. In your bedroom? When you woke up, was he already awake? Or was he still sleeping?
He was asleep in his bedroom upstairs.
The guest bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you take your medication that night?
I did.
What did you guys do Tuesday? Or just you? You guys, if you're not together, you're not together. What's the timeline on Tuesday?
Tuesday, he slept. I woke up early and started making phone calls to like the national hotline for missing and exploited children. I called the number that the sheriff's office had given me to see if they had any information, and they let me know that she was like the what did she say she was? I don't remember what she said her position was, but she had just gotten into the office and was just starting to work on it, so she didn't have anything new for me. Her name was Bonnie Mitchell. I remember that. She asked me to send her some photos. The National Exploited Children's Hotline place asked me for photos as well. I think at this point, I had asked my friends and family to start contacting news outlets to try to get as much attention on this as possible. I had a lot of phone calls coming in, and I was picking all of them up, hoping that any of them could help me. But it ended up being news reporters.
Now, remember, when they're asking her questions, most of the time there's a reason they ask her specific questions. It's because they have evidence to something and they want to see what she's going to say.
Or people who had seen my phone on the my phone number on a flyer and was trying to give me suggestions. Somebody letting me know that they took flyers all the way to Orlando International Airport and posted them all over the place in case she was being trafficked. They suggested that I go to Amtrak and Greyhound. I had my sister making all these runs for me. I didn't leave the house to do any of this.
Stephan's still asleep.
Yeah. Eventually, reporters come to the house and do an interview. And at this point, Stephan was awake. I did an interview with them, and then Stephan was crying in the background. And I said, Stephan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And he sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
Do you know which news outlet that was with? I know there's a video on Fox 35
with
you
him
guys
sitting
appear to be on like a webcam.
Yeah, that was Zoom. He was sitting in the
Zoom.
background for me.
Okay.
I know.
Thank you, Sarah, for dropping my Discord. If you guys want to come hang out on Discord with us, you can. That our link is under As the Gavel Drops Discord link, and again, As the Gavel Drops Discord is where you can go to find all the documents on all the cases. I know Who Killed You. I am going to check out that song that you were telling me about. I think that I'm assuming I Know Who Killed You also has a YouTube channel if you guys want to check them out. And they said, wonder how Jen reacted to finding out that the place Stephan Sterns said he was driving up and down looking for Maddie was where she was found. That's a good question, and I hadn't even thought about that.
But you had in-person interviews with reporters?
Yes. I want to say it was Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And he spoke to them?
Yes. Okay. And he ugly cried in front of the camera too, so he was fucking fake sob crying.
So she gets mad about that. In my opinion, she overreacted. Like, you know, she's cussing. This is one of the few times we hear her cuss. So, and she's mad because he ugly cried and now she knows he was lying. But the whole time you knew he was a manipulator. You were asked if he was known for lying or being manipulative, and you say no in one interview, but then in another interview you state how he's stealing money from his parents' closet that his parents don't know about. I have questions.
Are you saying that now, or do you?
I'm saying that now. I didn't think that at the time. At the time, I thought he was truly heartbroken and now that he had done all this shit to her.
Sorry, I was muted. Hey, Badass American. Thank you for being here.
Like, I look back at shit now, I'm just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents, and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents. But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
The lies are about money, they're about where he's at, what he's doing, what's he...
Yeah, all that.
To his parents?
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing. And during COVID, he sold, like, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it, no matter what. So he wanted RC vehicles, they're remote control cars, fancy ones. They were a few $100s, and I'm poor. I know I can't afford it, and he's showing up at home with these things. And I asked him, where are you getting the money from? Because we don't have this money. He goes, oh, my dad. And I said, your dad gave you money? He goes, no, I took some from his closet. And I was like they have an emergency stash? And he's like, yeah.
So I wonder if he actually did, which I wouldn't put it past him, or if it was money he was getting for distributing CSAM images and videos. Because I'm sorry, at this point, I'm pretty firm in my belief that he was definitely trading and receiving videos and pictures. Again, considering the setup in the storage unit and the 37,000 images, not 3,700, 37,000. That's not for personal use. I don't give crap. And then he says that he's not as much as a shutterbug as Jen is. So that makes me have questions about that. But He's making money off of CSAM. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Come for me if you want to. He's absolutely, that's how he was making money. Whether Jen knew or not, I don't know, but he for sure was.
And I'm like, he's gonna notice money's missing. And he's like, no, he won't. It's so much money in there, he won't notice at all. I've confirmed with Chris later on that he did notice money, but he never asked his son. But I let him know, yeah, he was robbing you and just buying himself toys. He's also lied. Most recently, he lied to his parents about where he would be. He told them he would be at his friend's house playing video or board games or something like that, but in reality, he came all the way to Kissimmee to hang out with us.
Okay.
But
you guys were together Wednesday? After all the interviews, did you stay Wednesday? Would you? I know
yes.
We had some detectives go meet you guys Wednesday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the house together until the detectives came?
Yes.
What kind of happened after the detectives came?
Real quick, evidently there was a shooting I got from 2 hours ago, in reference to what Badass American was talking about. What I'm pulling up right now, it says a man was shot and killed after driving a truck into a Texas mall. So we'll look at that when I have to go. I can't stay on. I probably have to go in the next 30 or so minutes. But I'm going to stay on with you as long as I can. Oh, Sarah dropped All Things Serious's channel. So there's the link for that. Please make sure you guys go sub up. And thank you for doing that. But my phone won't let me access my live to drop links. But my moderators are really great at that. Yes, thank you. And Guilty of Crime said there's 68 likes and 55 people in chat. That is awesome. Yeah, that is. Please make sure you hit the thumbs up. Wow, I feel special. Feel special.
Do you feel like everything starts to get blurry?
Oh, I get it. Trust me. We've been in this office for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, so I just don't remember what day I had conversation with you guys.
Tuesday night, Orange County detectives came out there because I ended up coming out Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing me or not that night.
Okay.
That was the first night we were at the apartment into the nighttime.
Yeah, is that when you guys shut down the house for forensics?
Yes. Guilty of Crime. I do have an open panel right now. I can drop the link if you want to come up. By the way, I'm always open panel. So if you come in here and you want to talk about anything that I'm talking about, just ask me to drop a link, and I'll drop a link, and you can come right up. My every live that I do, you're more than welcome to come up and talk to anybody that wants to come.
Okay, so
tell us about that.
Okay. So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stephan for his cell phone. If he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have? And I'm like, no, if you got nothing to hide, give him your fucking phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside, and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like, if you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as fuck. Like, what are you doing? I'm thinking he's just getting impatient because he's bored and wants to play on his phone. And at one point, he takes my phone to start playing with it. I give it up.
So I don't think so. I think that she's saying, you know, you need to stop talking like that before somebody hears you, because now you're showing how suspicious you are. You're being suspicious, and we don't want people to know that what you did, or that I know what you did, or of the things you did. You need to stop. You need to get your shit together. You need to chill out because you're being suspicious. And right now we're getting away with this. That's just my thought, opinion, and speculation. Me allegedly speculating is allegedly speculating. Thank you so much.
And I said, here, play on my phone, have fun, because I think from my phone he was trying to log into his emails, but he couldn't, because you need like two-factor authentication from your own phone. And I'm just like, what are you trying to look at? And he's like, oh, my shipments, my packages. He's addicted to buying shit. That's another thing. Me and his dad couldn't figure out where Stephan was getting money from to buy stuff since he's been unemployed the last 2 months, but he's constantly buying himself packages, buying himself things off of Amazon, buying himself things off the line.
Is this stuff you can confirm, or you think he's doing this?
What?
Buying packages.
I can confirm because I am linked to his Amazon account,
Okay.
and his parents can confirm whatever UPS packages or whatever he's getting at home. But I'm linked to his Amazon account. If you guys have my phone, you'll see whatever shipment. I think most recently I did like birthday party. If you see birthday party stuff, that was me. But everything else, him.
And I guarantee you that money equals way more than what he found in his daddy's closet. I think it came from the images. I really do.
He's constantly buying stuff and he doesn't have money. He keeps saying he's got money in his savings, but me and his dad call bullshit because he hasn't had. When he lived with us, he was struggling. His dad was helping him pay his bills, paying his rent, paying his gas, paying his insurance. Stephan was helping us, supporting us by buying food and all that stuff. But I don't know what he did with the rest of his money, and I don't know where he's getting money from now.
Why is she trying to reiterate so much that she doesn't know where he's getting money from? Like, could it be that, allegedly speculating, that she's again trying to go with the narrative that she doesn't know, or could it be that she really doesn't know where he's getting the money from and she's trying to figure it out considering he's unemployed? Either way, I could see personally. Who was it? I think Lisa May or Badass American, one of them was telling us about the mall shooting. Evidently, it was a police chase and the man ran into the mall trying to run from the police. So it wasn't like an intentional thing from what I'm being told in my comment section. Just to put that out since it's happening right now.
You were telling us that he was trying to log into
his emails. So he's trying to log into his emails on his phone. And I said, two-factor authentication, you can't do anything. You're just going to have to wait till you get your phone back.
She was prescribed medical marijuana, and then, she had all the other medications. That's the only thing I know that she was taking. If she was addicted to other things, all I'm going to do is pray that she gets help and seeks the help that she needs.
What else? We waited in the car. I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad because I had a feeling y'all knew something and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys are that you had the wrong person. I wanted to think that he was good.
Even after being showed the CSAM images, she's still convinced they have the wrong person, ma'am? Is that why you called his dad and said to get him an attorney, ma'am? I mean, I don't think so.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car? Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment complex or your condo, what's the conversation like inside that car?
I'm so sorry, Lisa Isby.
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about. I know
Why is it so
I
hard?
remember late in the like.
Why is it so hard for her to recall conversations? I mean, because if you actually are recalling the actual conversation, then you don't have that much trouble. But if you're trying to recall a script that you wrote out because maybe you were talking about what happened with Maddie and where you put the body and all of the things and trying to cover up a crime, you might have more of a problem recalling what to say in front of the police. I mean, again, that's just allegedly speculating, but I've never understood why she has such trouble recalling a conversation.
When you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad, or we called his dad, I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating. That they're focusing on the wrong person. They're wasting time there.
How did he feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They fucking know something, or there's something, like.
They effing know something. Don't you see forensics is closing the house down? They effing know something. That stands
I
out to
gotta,
me. What about,
yes,
go
I
ahead,
gotta
Eddie.
drop down because I have to go to the mechanic shop, get some parts.
Okay, well, I hope you get everything you need and it's not too expensive.
Yeah.
Bye, Eddie.
All
Good
right.
seeing you.
Bye-bye. Good seeing you
Thank you
too.
for coming up. That stands out to me because she said they effing know something before she said, I'm going to play that back to y'all again. She said, they effing know something. That tells me that she knows what happened. And she's saying forensics is closing down the house because they're starting to figure shit out. We need to get a lawyer. That's why she called for a lawyer. Guilty of crime made a good point when they said she can recall conversations. If you ask her anything about Stephan Sterns, she doesn't. Right. So listen to this again. I backed it up a little bit. When they talk about the lawyer, she's going to say forensics is closing down the house because they effing know something. That tells me that she effing knows something. And again, thank you, Eddie, for coming up on panel. I really appreciate you coming up today.
Or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
Might have took it too far. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about. I know
She does.
I remember late in the like, when you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad, or we called his dad. I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating. That they're focusing on the wrong person. They're wasting time there.
They're letting her talk because she's talking herself right into a trap. And right here, she walks right head first into that big ass hole.
How did he feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
he didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They fucking know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down.
They know something. They effing know something. They effing know what happened. They effing know what we tried to cover up. They effing know what happened. And she tries to fix it because she knows she slipped up.
Down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something. But I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. Like, I was just like, no, they've got the wrong guy. He just kept saying that they have the wrong guy, that they're focusing on the wrong person, and that we're wasting time. And we call his dad. We tell his dad to come down here, and his dad did come down here and met us at a hotel. That was another thing. I don't have that much money. I live off of disability. I couldn't afford to put us up on a hotel. Like, when you guys said that we could return, I was like, I didn't know where to go. I was trying to think if any family member would have a spare room or anything like that, and not that could take the three of us. When I say three of us, I mean him and the dog. And I know at my mom's house we wouldn't have been welcome. My mom does not like Stephan. She's never liked Stephan.
Wonder why.
Right.
So I knew that
her mama sniffed out the BS from the beginning. Absolutely.
Her mama knew right from the start that this guy was no good, obviously.
Yep. We've been going for 2 hours and 47 minutes. So when we get at 3 hours, so about 10 more minutes, I'm going to go ahead and stop for the day because I've got to actually make a coffee run myself, bad girl.
The option was to go to a hotel, but I couldn't afford it. So we called Chris, and Chris met us at a hotel by Disney,
okay,
off of Western Way. And that's where we went. We got there pretty late. We checked in. I used the restroom, and I was getting ready for bed, or laying down in bed probably around 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. And I fell asleep. Stephan was already asleep at this point.
Did you go straight to sleep when you got in, or just kind of drifted off as you were falling asleep? Like, you went to the bathroom and he goes straight to bed?
He was already in bed before I went to the bathroom. Okay. I was on my phone for a little bit. He was laying in bed snoozing. I went to use the restroom. I was in the restroom for quite a while because I had like a terrible sub. When I came back out, he was asleep. At least I thought he was asleep. But
his dad.
I do the diamond art stuff too, Toxic. I would be pushing that wax all the way up in the pen, and then pushing down so hard my diamond might push through the paper.
I stay with you guys?
Not in the hotel room. He stayed in a different room on the same floor.
Okay.
The following morning, I wake up, I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, and Stephan's not there. And I remember thinking, he left again without his phone and didn't tell anyone where he was going. That's suspicious as fuck again. Why is he trying to?
But we took his phone, so he got a new phone?
He didn't get the new phone until later that day, where his dad woke up, came to our hotel room, and then handed him a phone.
Okay.
And said, here, have this phone in the meantime until you get your old phone back.
So you're just saying he's out and about with no phone?
Yeah, he's out and about with no phone, so there's no way for us to contact him. There's no way for us to. I didn't know if he even knew how to get back to the hotel.
But even after that and all this suspicious things going on, you still feel it necessary to make sure he has an attorney. Even after seeing the CSAM pictures that depicted Madeline with his member, trigger warning, in her mouth, you still felt it was necessary to get him a lawyer. And you want me to believe that you didn't know about this situation and possibly condone it? I'm sorry, I'm not believing your BS.
Because I drove that night. He's a little oblivious to when it comes to directions. So I was just like, you couldn't even figure out how to get here. But he rolled in around 11:15. Rolled in with a cup of Wawa and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just driving around. I grabbed some Wawa on 182 and got lost. I didn't know how to get back to the hotel, but I'm here now." And I'm just like, detectives are about to show up. What the fuck would have happened if they showed up and you weren't here? Like, you would have been a fugitive. Like, what are you doing? And he was just apologetic about not telling anyone where he went.
But you know, I mean, he had a Wawa cup and he said he was up at 192.
Yeah, but in reality, I know that he truly took my car in the middle of the night to Northport, Florida, and was down there for an hour and came back. I didn't suspect that at all.
Okay.
I literally thought, I'm like, oh, this man, we were right next to like a a Target.
Abellis, it's a Wawa is a gas station or something that's down there. Janet said she does not believe the pic. She did, and that's why she said she wanted to see an actual photo with her child in it. And then she was shown a photo and like had no reaction. We talked about it yesterday. I don't understand, and I don't think I ever will. Wawa. I've never been there. Wawa is a gas station in that area, guilty of crime said. And Indie Girl said Wawa is an awesome gas station. No, yeah, Bad Girl, no, it's a gas station. She said they have food and stuff. The company I work for in my passenger said makes the Wawa cups. That's interesting.
Target. So I'm thinking, oh, he's probably like stress shopping, just looking at stuff. He likes to browse. Or just like maybe he's in there somewhere. But I didn't have a car. I couldn't go out looking, right?
We have
and also detectives were coming, so I didn't want to leave. Detectives eventually show up.
I'm actually going to Sheets after this live. Sheets is awesome.
Actually, we were in the hotel room for a while. He went back to sleep and slept. I took a little snooze for a little bit that morning, and then I got up, and then I went downstairs to the lobby, and I saw Chris. And Chris asked if I wanted some lunch, so we went to the hotel bar and ate some lunch. We brought up some lunch back for Stephan. Told him to eat a little bit. When he woke up, he took like 2 bites. Then detective showed up. We went downstairs. They let us know that there was a press conference happening, which we already had an idea was going to happen. And they told us they would give us a ride and escort us to the conference here, and that you guys would let us in the back way so that media wouldn't see us. But in reality, now I know that was just to interview guys with us. But
she's laughing and smiling about that, and that's the interview we hear where they hit her with the CSM pictures and then they go and arrest Stephan. But she's laughing about that like she feels like a celebrity because they were having a press conference. So yeah, and then that's the other part of it. Guilty of crime says, how do you take a snooze when your daughter is missing? Right, like she talks about she takes her meds and she goes to sleep that night. I'm sorry, if my child is missing, I'm not sleeping until they're found. Definitely not sleeping good. That's a possibility in my passenger. And she again is just concerned about herself, her sleep, her medication. Maddie's missing. Unless you already knew what had happened and you're taking medication because you knew there's nothing you can do. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but like I keep saying, I have a lot of questions. Right, Lisa?
Yeah, then we showed up here and got separated. Haven't heard from him since. Haven't spoken to him since. Have no interest in speaking to him at all.
Yes, bad girl.
Yeah, that was it then. Then we got interviewed.
What have you done since? Like, where Did you go back to the hotel? Did you stay somewhere else?
No. So after the interview and all that stuff, Chris took me to my sister's house. I've been at my sister's house ever since.
Cool.
Yesterday, I went out for a little bit to go to Target to try to take my mind off of things. I went to Target to go get myself a toothbrush and deodorant, things that I didn't have because I left the house so last second. I also went to.
Why is she having such problems recalling where she drove the day before?
My ex-husband's wife's mom's house. It's complicated, but we're all friends.
So,
yeah. And they consoled me. They just kept me company.
Did she just say her ex-husband's wife's mom's house? Is that what she said?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Then I went back to my sister's house, and I've just been pretty much there ever since now. When I went to Target, I decided, like, oh shit, I shouldn't be out in public. People could recognize me. It could either be good or bad, where people could tell me. I've already had people recognize me in my community, and dealing with people's heavy emotions and them coming to me and crying and telling me they're so sorry and how they feel is so heavy because like I just have to kind of stand there and take their emotions and like I don't know, it's so heavy.
I had a big problem with this when she's saying that people are trying to be nice to her, console her when she's out in public. People are coming up to her and saying, things like, I'm assuming, I'm sorry your daughter's lost. I hope that she gets found soon. I hope she comes home, all of the things. And she's talking about she can't deal with their emotions because it's so heavy and she just can't do it. If she's doing that to them, I wonder what she told Maddie. I wonder if Maddie tried to tell her what was going on and why she felt the way she did. And Jen's just like, I can't deal with your emotions right now, and mine too. I can't deal with it. You need to figure out how to deal with it yourself. That's always been a big problem.
She seems like the kind of person that just needs to lay under a weighted blanket for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that makes me hurt even more for Maddie because she literally had nobody to talk to other than Stephan, who was God, Jesus. I mean, the things we talked about the things that he was doing to her, and she tries to talk to the counselor, but she knows she can't say anything. She can't talk to her mom because her mom can't handle her emotions too. Makes me sad.
And I totally agree with Sarah with she doesn't understand her emotions because she's numbed herself for so long. She's obviously taking something to numb the pain, and it's causing other emotions.
Yep. Absolutely. So we're going to stop here. We're going to stop here for the day because I do have to go run a couple of errands, and we'll pick back up here tomorrow. Yeah, thank you for coming up. I'll get with you in Discord. I saw that you were talking about your StreamYard and stuff, and I'll see if I can do a screen recording of how I do things to get with you on that.
Awesome. I'll drop down. See you later. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you. You too, honey. Hey, Manda or Manda, and she says, take your mind off finding your daughter. Sure, Jen. I mean, yeah, no doubt. Toxic said it's called guilt. Zio said, no, don't go ever. You act like we're not going to be talking in Discord. Yeah. Most moms would give the only bedroom to the child, not Jen. Absolutely. Lisa May. I thought you were Jenny Jen for a second. Yes, thank you, everyone. Like Abella says, thank you, everyone, for being here. This was an awesome chat, awesome live today. Thank you, guys. You guys always make my day. The Speculating family always makes me feel better and have a good day. Like, really, for the past 2 days, I've been tired when I come and go live, and I'm like, man, I am just so tired today. But then we get on here and start talking about all of the things, and I just get excited because I like talking about these cases with you guys and, getting your thoughts and opinions and speculations and just spending time with you guys. It really makes me happy and it makes my day. And it's nice to be able to talk to an accepting, loving, caring, understanding group of people about these cases because they're just so hard to talk about. And you guys make it really easy, and you're so welcoming to new people who come in and stroll through and things. And I really appreciate that. I hope you guys have. My stream stopped for a minute. It froze up. Okay. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I hope you guys have a good Sunday. And I will see y'all tomorrow, and we'll pick right up where we left off. So have the best night ever. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know.